2019 KARDS World Championship. I'm your host, Ólafur Hrafn Steinarsson, and joining me, as always, are our fantastic community casters, Cybernetic and Scout. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty great.
I'm still waking up.
What time is it for you now, Cyber?
5:30 in the morning.
5:30. So over the course of this broadcast, we're going to slowly see the sun rise on the right-hand side of your face again.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, the day has come. Championship Sunday. We have the finals in front of us today. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is a pretty good matchup, like considering how the games went yesterday. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what it is. You know, we've got Gearbot, who's obviously proven himself to be quite experienced and can handle the pressure, while there's also GK Zukov, who's someone that might not have a complete collection but knows how to play around with the cards that he has.
Yeah, I think Cyber really laid it all out right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as an added bonus, we actually just made this decision a few minutes before we went live, but we're also going to be showing the matches that were played earlier today for the third place title. So we'll be able to see Dragir and Fender's matches from earlier today. But we do have a jam-packed schedule ahead of us, and we're going to start this off by sitting down with the creative director of KARDS, Guðmundur Kristjánsson, and talk a little bit about the upcoming expansion, Allegiance. Hello, my name is Ólafur Hrafn Steinarsson, and I'm joined here with Guðmundur Kristjánsson, the creative director for 1939 Games. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, the World Championship is happening this weekend, but that's not the only thing that's just about to happen for KARDS. There is an expansion called Allegiance.
Yeah. We are really excited to be bringing out the expansion. And to be honest, I've been really swamped working only on that, so I've not been really so much involved in preparing this great thing here, the World Championship Finals. But yeah, I'm definitely really excited with the whole team to get the expansion out there.
Yeah, and I mean it's been quite a road to get to this point. Can you maybe tell us a little bit, how did 1939 Games start, and this concept of cards how was it born?
Well, yeah, to be frank, it was originally my idea, this game. I was still working at another gaming studio in Iceland, CCP Games, and I had this idea of, I'm a card gamer, and I've also always had this fascination for World War II. So I kind of just went looking for a card game, a World War II card game, and expected to find it. But when I didn't, or not a proper one anyway, I kind of thought, yeah, I'm in the gaming industry. What can we do about this? So that kind of spawned this thing. But then I applied for a little grant here in Iceland from the Icelandic Technology Development Fund, and got that grant, and that kind of enabled me to take the leap. And me and my brother Ivar, we founded the company together. And yeah, for the first years or first months, I was mostly working alone on it. Then Ari, our CTO, also from CCP, started working with me on this project, and we were alone for like part-time. So it was a really lean operation for quite a long time, but now in the last couple of years we've been scaling a bit up, and as we're getting closer to release.
So how long is it since you started this? What year was it when this whole thing started?
I'd say the idea was maybe born like 2014 or so. We founded the company and started really to work on this 2015.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could definitely feel it in the game, at least in my opinion, that it's taken some time to make it properly. So great job on that.
Thank you.
But it's obviously been quite a road up until this point, and now you're launching the first expansion and getting closer to full release. How does it feel to kind of see the fruit of your labor kind of come to life?
It feels great, and when I was watching the semifinals here yesterday, for example, I mean, I had goosebumps almost the whole time, because when you have been working so constantly or so closely on something, or having a focus on something for such a long time, you kind of lose part of the big picture sometimes. And just to see these guys playing at this level, and all the excitement around it, and the drama and the fun, it was just beautiful, because that's when you when it becomes even bigger and better than you could have imagined yourself. That was really great.
Yeah, I definitely kind of relate to that and understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Before we start talking a little bit more about the expansion, I want to ask you though, how does it feel to be able to do this with your brother?
Well, that's actually just really great. We've had a really good and close relationship, especially after we came from our younger years. We were a little bit, fighting sometimes when we were younger, but we've been working together for a really long time, and we also do a lot of other things together. Have all kinds of common hobbies and a lot of common friends and so on. So it actually feels really natural, and I think it's really nice that we have very different kind of strengths that we bring to the table. So we're more empowering each other than clashing, in decisions and so on.
Yeah, that makes sense. But let's turn our attention to Allegiance. That's going to be released on the 10th of December. What can we expect to see in this expansion?
So I mean, expansions, of course, are kind of the heartbeat or breath of the card game, of a collectible card game, and 150 new cards into the mix. Just that, of course, completely shakes up the meta game, and allows the old players that have been with us for a long time, of course, to start figuring out all these new fun combinations and things like that. But then also we're adding some new mechanics and obviously the new nations, and that's really fun. I mean, it was always the idea to add more nations to the mix, and France and Italy were obviously really big players in World War II. And besides from the new mechanisms, mechanics that we're putting in and the new nations, we're also just not kind of strengthening a bit the identity of the existing nations, and some of the cards are also counters to something that we noticed that is too strong, or it's also there's some balancing hidden in there, in different places.
So I noticed in the dev blog that was published about the expansion, when the 2 new nations were revealed, that you tend to draw a lot of inspiration from kind of historical accuracy in the way you approach structuring these nations, with the French one gaining power over time, and the Italian ones bundling together to make each other stronger. Is this something that you guys decided on early on and have been focusing on, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would actually attribute that mostly to Keli, who's been doing a lot of the design work for the new nations and the expansion. But we definitely discussed this, and yeah, I mean, like with the other nations, of course, we are quite knowledgeable about World War II, and we read up a lot about how this all went, and got inspired by the actual history. And I mean, we try to do that in all aspects of the game where it's possible.
Yeah.
To try to at least be inspired by and try to make the units kind of relatively behave like you would expect as possible in an abstract game like this. And but I've also always said that fun is first, or the game, fun playing the game is above historic accuracy.
Yeah, fun is first definitely sounds like a pretty good mantra to approach a game with, or creating a game at least.
Yeah, it's not a historical simulator or anything like that.
But for the players that might be watching, there is a promo going on until the launch of the expansion if they want to snag themselves some packs, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a pre-sale going on. You can get a substantial discount. It ends at the 10th or the 9th. I'm not sure. Anyway, before the expansion comes out.
Yes.
And you can get like 50 packs for $39, and you get a card pack also, expansion card pack.
Well,
so that's a nice
you heard
little
it here.
discount.
You guys should get into the store and make sure to snatch up that offer before it gets removed. With 150 new cards coming in the expansion, there's plenty of cards to open. But there's one more change coming in the expansion, something that a lot of players have kind of voiced their opinion on in the past and are celebrating a lot, and that is that now you'll only be able to field elite cards from your main nation. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about why you guys decided to go that route and what that means for the game?
Yes, definitely. We're really excited about it, and we're actually quite happy how good feedback we're getting on it, because we weren't sure how people would react to it. It's quite a big change. But yeah, I mean, when we decided to go for the kind of deck building that we have, where it's quite inspired by Magic the Gathering, for example, where you can mix together different colors, so being able to mix different nations, it opens up so many possibilities, which is the fun part. But it's also challenging because it makes a game a bit harder to balance, because you can mix everything together. And the power level also of the elite cards is, I mean, they are relatively powerful, and having to balance, think about balancing every elite card against every other elite card in the game is kind of, yeah, it's quite hard. And we were thinking about various different ways of dealing with this, but yeah, I think the elite card limitation is a really good solution. because it also kind of helps us underline the identity of the nations. So you know, and I mean, like one of the top players here competing at the tournament, he said it was great because if you had like a lot of elite cards and you are building, you have this only 12 cards from an ally, and you know maybe 6 of them are like auto included because they are so powerful, elite cards.
Yeah.
So now you can, that problem is solved, which I think is really good.
And this probably opens up the game a little bit as well to newer players, not having to kind of have as many elites in their collection to specialize in a single nation.
Absolutely, yeah, that was also definitely a consideration, and we really hope that that will work. But like I say, I mean, we're super happy with the feedback we've been getting so far on it, and really look forward to see how it affects the meta game and so on when it's out there.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see for the next tournament how the metagame has shifted. Thank you so much for sitting down and having a conversation with me, Gummi.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with the expansion. We'll send it back to the tournament broadcast.
Hello everyone, it's me again. I really love sending an interview back to myself, but joining me here are of course Cybernetic and Scout. Guys, was there anything new in that interview about the expansion or the thought process behind it that stuck out to you?
Not really. I think you guys did a very good job at explaining everything that's coming up for the expansion. I didn't really come across anything that was too surprising, except obviously that bombshell of only the elites can come from the main nation and not from the allies. I think that's going to be a game changer. What about you, Scout?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Everything he went over, I personally have been all over talking about in the Discord. I think it's a great change with the elite specifically. Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I really wanted to kind of drill down a little bit on that kind of change with the elites because I think there are two really important things here. Obviously, a lot of the decks we're seeing this tournament rely on a lot of elites from the ally nation, but I'm really looking forward to like we talked about control decks are probably going to suffer the most with this nerf, but is there anything else? Do you think this is going to make a certain nation the front runner now because they have better elites than others? How is this going to play out?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Britain is still very self-sustained. It's got a lot of elites that can just like because of its because it's got a lot of on-deployment elites. I think that can stand on its own, and then any other ally that comes in will just be complementing the build. So I can still see decks like Air Britain still being a thing. I could still see things like Commonwealth still being a thing, obviously. So yeah, what do you think, Scout?
Yeah, I feel like it may hurt the other nations more and may put them maybe even a little farther away from Britain even than they currently are. I feel like many players feel like Britain is probably the strongest nation at the moment. If you look at the ladder in game, you can see a lot of the top players run Britain as their most played nation. It's my and Cyber's favorite nation even. And I think that's because they do have quite a few very game-changing elites like the Kitty Hawk, the Mosquito, cards like Blackwatch even. It's not an elite, but Monty for one. Monty's a big one. And we're gonna have to see how the other cards getting brought in maybe boost up the other nations a little more to maybe balance things out a little more. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and I mean, what's going to be interesting as well is with the new ally nations of France and Italy, we're getting these two new mechanics. Otherwise, Mobilize and then, which is France, and then Alpine. We're also getting the resistance mechanic with France. Would you guys maybe do a quick recap of what does Mobilize do for those at home that haven't necessarily followed the news?
I'll let you go with this, Scout.
All right. Mobilize, what it does, it's
oh, and oh,
I believe it's on a
go again.
We okay?
Slight lag.
Oh, okay. Mobilize, it's a new mechanic coming in, very prevalent on French cards, but I believe it's not completely restricted to French cards. And what it does is, at the start of your turn, every turn, it gives your unit +1/+1 as long as your unit has not taken damage since it's been played.
Are there any cards that give units smokescreen? Because I'm thinking, that could get pretty big pretty quickly if you could combo those with some of those mobilize units.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You might have to ask that one to the internal tester over here. He's seen all this stuff.
Yeah. No, I don't remember one for. Oh, no, not really. Not so you can just keep it at the back and just like leave it there and being untouchable. There is nothing, no effect that I remember that does anything like that.
That's definitely something to look out for the future. And then maybe I'll have you, Cybernetic, tell us a little bit about what Alpine does and how that plays.
Basically, for each Alpine unit that comes out after the first, depending on how many Alpine units there are, the one that gets played gets +1/+1 for each other Alpine unit that's on this field.
So, and both of these nations, both Italy and France, are only going to be available as ally nations. And if we couple the changes of the elites from the ally nations plus these two new game mechanics, do you think we're going to be seeing a lot of new decks relying on these new nations as their allies and kind of trying to abuse some of these newer mechanics that players might not be as accustomed to playing against?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be good to see it because one thing I like about new expansions is that everyone's going to be going through the honeymoon phase, which basically means that everyone's going to be experimenting and trying out new decks right at the start. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to get surprised is that you're going to see all these different variety, with the Alpines, with the Mobilized, see what other things they're going to come out with it. We still don't know the whole set, so we're not sure if other nations might have their own versions of Alpine and Mobilize either. What about you, Scout?
Yeah, definitely a lot of synergies there. I feel like once the patch drops itself, we can get all those new players trying everything. Like you said, a lot of ideas, maybe even the internal testers may not have thought of, are going to probably come up. A whole lot of new decks for sure, with all these new eyes coming on it.
Yeah, I've always said that, you can do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hours of testing for any video game or any patch that you release, but within an hour of it being released, all like the cumulative hours played by the community will have surpassed, your testing hours in the first, 2 hours or 3 hours of it being live. So you can never really test for everything. But moving on, the expansion is not the only new thing coming to cards. There's plenty of things in the pipeline, including potentially a mobile release. I sat down with Guðmundur Kristjánsson and Ivar Kristjánsson, the CEO and creative directors, and we talked a little bit about the future of cards earlier today. Hello, my name is Ólafur Hrafn Steinarsson, and I am joined here in the interview set with Ivar Kristjánsson, the CEO of 1939 Games, and Guðmundur Kristjánsson, the creative director, the two brothers behind this gaming company. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing excellent. This has been a great weekend so far, and of course we're really excited for the finals tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about the World Championship just yet. I got you here to talk a little bit about the future of cards and what we can expect in the coming months and years, hopefully. So I first want to start off by saying we're still in early access with the game, but we're nearing full release. What is it that determines whether a game is early access or full release? What are you looking for before you call it fully released?
Well, this is of course several things. Of course, all the main game elements need to be in. And I mean, we've been adding a lot of visual effects, etc., to enrich the gameplay or the game experience. And of course, it's just a very long way, you need to do in the last stages, quality assurance and just fine tuning.
Polishing a lot, eliminating every single bug.
Every single bug? Yeah. Okay, so you heard it here first. There's going to be no bugs on release. But when could we expect that to happen?
Well, we are working towards the timeline to do it in February, and I mean we are pretty confident as it stands. So the day is set on the 6th of February.
6th of February.
And hopefully we will be able to deliver on that.
And are we gonna expect to see a lot more marketing and a lot more new players around that time as well?
Yeah, I mean we've not really been doing a lot of marketing because I mean the game has not really been ready. Of course we have had a lot of players come in, probably over 120,000 players so far, and we really appreciate getting them in and getting their feedback. But these are like early adopters. I mean, there's a lot of players that don't really want to come into alpha or beta stages or early access. So we have really just focused our marketing pretty low key and getting to those early adopters that are willing to, have this dynamic relationship with us.
Yeah, and I think this weekend is a testament of how great the community that's been built up around KARDS is, with these guys coming here for the weekend, and Scout and Cybernetic altering their sleep schedules to make sure that they can join us to
Yeah,
cast.
thanks guys.
Thank you, really well appreciated.
That was really excellent work, and look forward to see you again tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but talking about getting more players, probably the most frequently asked question that I see when I'm looking at any type of KARDS content online is, when will this be available on mobile?
Well, we are actually working towards that and have been working already for several months on making the mobile version. And we have a partner in the UK, in Bristol actually, called Org Digital. And we are expecting to release the mobile version in May, and that will be, I mean, a lot of our players are asking for this. And I mean, according to studies that we've seen and research, I mean, people like to play cross-platform. I mean, they have their mobile device with them nearly at all times, so it will give them access to the game, much more access to the game. But of course, at home it will be a richer experience, and they might be playing on their desktop.
And of course, there's also a new audience that will open up for us.
Yeah.
But we're really excited just to get the game out on mobile, because I think mobile is a really great platform for CCGs. Yeah. Dragging cards around on the screen, it feels really natural, and I've played a lot of card games on mobile, especially on the a bit bigger phones, or the iPads. It's really perfect.
We actually were playing around with an Android version this week, so it's close. It's coming.
Close.
Yeah.
It's close. How did that feel?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such, as Gunther said, it's such a, I mean, dragging the cards with the fingers, it just feels very natural.
Yeah, I mean, I know, so I play on a laptop that has a touchscreen, so I already do that, and I've been waiting for the mobile version myself for quite some time, so come May, I'm probably going to be less productive in some of my meetings, it's all because of you guys, but that's not the only thing that's coming our way. There's also more stuff, and that is localization. So localization has been coming for a little bit, and it's just around the corner. What languages are you guys going into, and how does that process look like?
Yeah, we are adding 6 new languages, and I mean these are markets that have shown quite a lot of interest in our game so far. And we're talking about Germany, France, Russia, Poland, Chinese, and then Brazilian Portuguese. And then we'll probably add some languages later. But I mean, this will definitely open up a lot of new markets, and of course service those markets better. That are already playing, they can then play in their own language.
Yeah, and is this the localization of all the client, all the cards, everything?
Everything.
Okay. Everything, yeah. And
our web page, Steam storefront, everything.
Awesome. Yeah.
All the history text, yeah.
So in an earlier interview, I asked Gummi, what does it feel like to be able to do this with your brother? And now I want to ask you the same thing, Ivar.
What did he say?
He said it was fantastic.
Good. Okay.
So because I think it's unique. You often hear like, don't start a business with your friends or family or something, because it can drive a wedge between you. But you guys have been working together for a long time, and are now on the brink of releasing a full game together. How does that
Well, I can tell you that you know this myth about not starting a company with your friends or family. I've started a few companies, always with friends and sometimes with family, and I actually really like it. And liking with friends and family is basically that's fantastic. I mean, really coming to work and getting, of course, challenging work ahead, you know, but also, you know, getting the social fulfillment and meeting your friends and family is just an additional bonus. And of course, me and Guðmundur have been working together, for 15 years now or 16 years?
Yeah.
And there's really, you know, we are really good together. I mean, we have different attributes, and I mean, together we are really strong.
That's great to hear. But before I let you go, I'm going to press you for a prediction for who's going to take the finals match tonight. It's going to be played.
Yeah.
So I really want to hear, who do you guys think is going to take it?
This is a nasty one.
I know.
I mean, I like both players a lot. I mean, of course, all four of them are really strong players. And unfortunately, there can only be one that wins.
Yeah.
But I really need to duck out of this question because I cannot really favor one beyond the other. But I really like both of them. They have different play styles. But I'm just really excited to watch the finals.
Answered like a true politician there. Well, I kind of agree. I mean, I think it can definitely go either way. These are extremely good players.
Yeah.
I'd say though that Gearbot was really convincing yesterday. He didn't make any mistakes and he pulled off these really great plays.
GK Zukov won 3-0.
Yeah, that being said, he lost one game. GK Zukov didn't lose a game. And he also seemed to have some magic with his draws.
Yeah.
He always drew the right cards. So, well,
but luck is also a big factor in life.
And
also in this game.
And I mean, of course, he is also a super strong player.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't say. I'll just.
All right, I'll let you guys off the hook, and I'll just leave you be, so you can just be excited for watching the finals. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us and tell us a little bit more about the future of KARDS. Ivar and Guðmundur, have a great night.
Thank
Thank you. Cheers.
Same.
And we are back after having sat down with the two founders of the company, Ivar Kristjánsson, the CEO, and Guðmundur Kristjánsson, his brother, the creative director. Scout and Cybernetic, there were a couple of reveals in that video, including a date of 6th of February, a target date for full release, and mobile version in May. How does that make you feel?
Oh wow, I didn't expect it to be like already set that soon. Like February is only around the corner, right? It's only like 2 months away. So no, it's exciting times. Like the expansion just coming out in a couple of days, and then there's this in a couple of months. Like it's good to hear.
Yeah, and for the mobile release, while I myself not really looking for, well, of course I'm looking forward to it. It won't impact me that much because I plan on sticking to the PC. But a lot of people definitely wanting mobile. It'll be really nice to see them get their mobile. A lot more people playing while they're traveling, like on the bus, before work, at school.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for me, the biggest issue with playing cards is having to wrestle the laptop at home away from my girlfriend who wants to watch, Grey's Anatomy or something, and really gives me the stink eye when I want to take up a whole night of playing cards. So I'm really looking forward to being able to just find a quiet corner somewhere in the bedroom and grind out those field marshal ranks.
That's it.
But yeah, and then we have localization around the corner as well. You're obviously both English-speaking players, so maybe not as relevant for you guys, but something to get excited for, the international player base. But it's definitely looking like a pretty tight roadmap ahead,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no,
Awkward silence.
yeah, we're both actually looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm not sure. I don't think they announced anything that's going to change, right? Once the full release comes out, it's just that so far the date's been there. So obviously we're looking forward to any other news that might come up leading up to the releases.
Yeah, and from what I could gather as well, the full release versus early access is less a question of, a service to players and the amount of content, and it's more a question of like how polished the state the game is in, making sure all the bugs are out of there, and really making sure that we have a fully fleshed out game on release. And just having spent the weekend here with the team in 1939 Games, it is a small team, but man, they're doing some amazing work, and they're getting the game out in these different formats, different languages, way faster than even I would have expected.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, so that was Gumi and Ivar. We're going to go to a quick 2-minute break now while I switch on over to the interview set where I'll be joined by Fenrir and Drogir, and we're going to talk a little bit about their matches yesterday, their tournament so far, and what they expect to see tonight during the grand finals. See you in a bit. Welcome back. We're now in the interview set, and I am joined by Fenrir and Drogir, our two semifinalists that unfortunately got knocked out yesterday. How are you guys doing today?
You first.
Yeah, it's been a humbling experience,
Yeah.
but also fun. Given a day or two, maybe I can look back with great joy.
Yeah.
Never fun to lose like that.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. What about you, Fenrir?
So for me, my aim for this championship is just go to top 4, go to Iceland. It's enough. So the whole day, rest of the day, just enjoy the match. So I have a great day. Yeah.
Yeah, and we spent some time exploring downtown today. How was
that's cool.
that for you guys?
Really cool.
Yeah, very cool and very cold.
Yes, and very cold. Yeah, we
Very windy.
did do a lot of walking in the wind. But I wanted to ask you a little bit, like in more detail about the series. Was there anything, just starting with you, Drogir, was there anything that surprised you in your series against Sukov?
That I lost.
Yeah.
No, I was surprised. The environment is so new. You can't train for this. You can train at home, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's,
And that's something we discussed a little bit
Yeah.
earlier. Is like not having opportunities to play in this kind of setting every day means it's pretty hard to prepare.
yeah, you can't.
But there was definitely one point where the pressure looked like it kind of got to you in that second game. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about that situation?
Maybe it started with the Lancaster bomber. Maybe should have targeted the HQ. Started there, mind games, and then it's just I knew the place. I tried to fancy up it. I knew what I should do. Then I spotted maybe I can do this instead. So I forgot about the signal regiment. That got me over the edge, because if that Pershing should have entered the front line, I would have won, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, it shows that you have to pay attention to every detail, especially when you're playing at this level and, facing an opponent like Sukov, you can't afford to make any slip-ups.
It's very good.
Now, switching over to you, Fenrir, in your series, was there anything that stood out to you? Obviously, you were playing against some really strong decks from Gearbot.
I think for the first game, I never thought about like he can win in this way, like draw all the card off, like finally use the last right to finish the game. I have played for a long time, but this is the first time I have been beat in this way, so this a little surprised me a little, and I'm glad that I win the first round. So if Scareboard to win the game, I mean the final, I may say like I win the first prize. I win the winner of this championship once.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great, yeah.
I mean, you managed to take a game off of Gearbot, someone who has only dropped 2 matches throughout the entire tournament. So even that is a little bit of an accomplishment. But definitely some really strong decks. Do you have any ideas in your mind on how you would like to deal with these types of decks in the future? Or are you already theory crafting into the future?
For that deck, maybe I will add like 2 Black Wedge, which will increase the cost of the order to my card, or like maybe the discard deck may help, but I haven't have a try to see if it works. But maybe discard deck will be a solution for that.
Okay, thanks for that. And let's swap from yesterday and get us in slightly better of a mood. Then let's talk about today. Today we have the finals match coming up in front of us. I know I'm excited. I'm sure you guys are excited to watch these matches play out. What do you think is going to happen in this final series? You know what decks these guys are going to be bringing into it. How do you think it's going to be playing out? If we just start with you, Dragir.
I think Gearbot is a heavy favorite in my book, but Zuko is not to be underestimated. But the decks speaks for Gearbot. The better setup.
Okay. What about you, Finish?
I agree with Jogir. I think maybe Gearbot will win the game. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to go 3-0, 3-1, 3-2?
I hope it can be 3-2, like give us like 5 tough game to enjoy, but maybe it will be 3-0. Oh, I'm sorry, Zukov. I don't mean that. Yeah.
No, I mean, of course, there's no ill intentions here.
No.
We all have to be honest about the matches in front of us, so there's no shame in giving a prediction. What decks or matchup between decks are you most excited for? Or do you want to see any specific deck from Zugaf fight any specific deck from Gearbot?
Not really. I haven't thought about it
Okay.
in detail. I just enjoyed watching them play.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see if the aggro deck from Zukov that managed to give you a lot of trouble with your control deck is able to break through the early game of that Commonwealth deck that Gearbot could be bringing into it. But I wonder if we're going to be lucky enough to see that matchup.
They've been talking about it all day,
Yeah,
trying to mind game each other too.
yeah. For those at home that obviously weren't with us today, Gearbot and Zukov have been going back and forth, telling each other which deck they're going to bring first, and
All around Iceland.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's probably about 20 layers of mind games at this point in time. But thank you guys so much for sitting down with me and giving us this interview and this conversation. We're going to actually go into the matches that you played earlier to decide who comes in third for this tournament now. So I'll just hand it over to our glorious casters, Cybernetic and Scout, that are going to be commentating over these games. I just want to make sure that everybody knows these games were played earlier today, so these are recordings, but this is the first time that our casters see the matches, so all the excitement's going to be happening live. We're going to go through them pretty fast, and then we'll be back with the final matchup of the 2019 KARDS World Championship between Gearbot and GK Zukov.
All right. This should be pretty exciting. The battle for third place. Of course, everyone over there in Iceland already knows who won, but you and I and the people in chat, we're still in the dark. We have no
Yeah.
idea how it's going to play out.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm actually in the dark.
Not for long. That sun will come up any moment.
Yeah. No, I liked how they were bantering during their trip around Iceland, Gearbot and GK Zukov. I think that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I'm back with you guys here. We're about to start playing the third place matches, so you guys should keep a good eye on your screen. Can we get those rolling? And there we go.
All right.
All right. Drogear with one of
see,
his
yeah.
many control decks. Yeah. Fenrir playing his British Japan air deck, it seems.
Yeah.
Pretty nice mulligan by Fenrir.
Oh, that's a really good one. They actually both got really good mulligans there, as you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Not sure how well these decks are going to match up. As far as the early game goes, because it seems like they have a lot of stall cards, so they'll be trying to stall each other, perhaps.
Yeah.
May
I
not
can
see
see
too many.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think yeah, it's a good idea for Fenrir to get rid of that 85th as soon as possible.
Probably not too many exciting plays early on here. Both of these players aren't really playing the decks for that, but it's really good for Fenrir to knock out those pioneers very early on.
That's it.
Cutting Drogear's snowball out right from the beginning.
You can see that Drogear's deck looks very similar to Gearbot's actually, you know, with the two guards and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
Very big close air support coming out from Fenrir.
Oh, definitely.
That's going to be a pretty big bomber for Drogear to deal with. He's like, it looks like he's going to trigger the air defense. Let's see if Drogear actually attacks with the big bomber first.
Yeah. It's all
Fenrir.
about the awareness.
All right, looks like he's triggered air defense. He got the read.
Yeah.
Good on him. Maybe he wanted to play the close air support first, perhaps, but maybe not. It's good that he got that air defense out of the way.
Maybe he's deciding to see if he can do that, or he might be deciding to whether or not he's going to use HMS. I'd probably use HMS at this point.
Absolutely,
just to
get
build
that
up
board
the pressure. Yeah.
Could potentially get a really big close air support coming out. The Blackwatch hitting Fenrir, not doing a whole lot. It does get his 2 cards, but not very expensive cards to begin with, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah.
Fenrir.
I think
another massive close air support there for Fenrir.
Playing it smart, dividing it between the 2 cards. Not putting all his eggs in one basket, as a lot of players you might see do.
And also the Albacore is not going to be able to pin anything as it only targets ground units.
Drogear with an Avenger in hand, probably going to take out one of these bombers next turn. Fenrir dealing a lot of HQ damage this turn. Drogear with a bit of a slow start, it seems.
Yeah, the problem is it doesn't matter which one it destroys. He's still in lethal range at the moment, so I think he's going to understand that. He might have to change up his strategy and heal as opposed to use Avenger. Maybe even put Kitty Hawk to block some damage.
He'll have to. I think maybe Fortification and a Kitty Hawk might be his best play. He's gonna lose the Kitty Hawk, maybe not get the value he wants from it, but he's got to protect his HQ this turn. He can't play. He cannot safely play that Avenger. Looks like he's going for the kill. Okay, he's a little unsure. It doesn't look like he has a great option either way. So.
Nah, it's kind of on the back foot here.
Perhaps hoping he draws something a little nicer. These big bombers, it seems in a lot of his games, not really getting a whole lot of value out of them. Like, they come really late, and he really seems to be struggling with the earlier games so far in the games we've seen.
I'm not sure if he's going to use precision bombing here. I probably wouldn't. But then again, if he doesn't, then obviously Avenger will target the, say, 5-7, because I assume he would be attacking with the 4-5. Oh, maybe not.
think it may be the better play for him to actually go straight for the face with that precision bombing. But that's me also knowing what Drogear has in hand.
Yeah, that's
Probably
it.
not something Fenrir knows.
I am surprised he's going for the bomber, because like knowing that the opponent didn't use precision bombing immediately after using Albacore shows that he doesn't actually have it.
Mm-hmm. The Avenger coming out now that Drogear has a little more hit points to play with.
That's
Still
right.
potentially taking a lot of damage.
This game now, thanks to Kitty Hawk.
Yeah, you're right. That's lethal.
Yeah. Just
Pretty
as well.
quick game by Fenrir.
Yeah.
Drogear
Compared to the
unable to
games
deal with those
yesterday.
bombers.
Oh yeah. I think he wanted to say GG.
Yeah. Would have been funny if he said, "Is it my turn yet?"
And there we go. That was game number 1 in our third place match between Drogear and Fenrir. Fenrir taking that home. What did you think about that match, guys?
Very familiar. I use obviously Brit Air quite a lot. I actually used that as a surprise deck in season 6. So I can see that he got some pretty good opening hand there since the mulligan. They both did actually. What do you think, Scout?
Yeah, I think Drogear, still a lot of the same struggles we've been seeing in his games. Really, I'm not sure if it's a bad draw or maybe there's some flaws in the deck. I'm not sure, but very unfortunate for him to get these really rough early games.
Yeah, it feels like he's been struggling with that early game all tournament long, pretty much. But let's not keep it any further than this, and we're ready to jump into the next third place match between Drogear and Fenrir when production is ready to bring it up for us. And there we go. Cybernetic and Scout, take it away.
All right. Curious to see what kind of cards they'll get.
Holding that daylight bombing.
Yeah, I was surprised
Fenrir's
they
playing.
actually kept the daylight bombing there. But yeah, it looks
This
like
is
both of them don't have
Fenrir's Commonwealth deck, I believe.
the...
His Commando Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's
One we
right.
did
It
not
is. This is
see
the
against
first...
Gearbot.
That's
This is our
right. So
first
I think
time
this is
seeing
going
this
to be
deck.
good.
Mm-hmm.
See how it runs.
Yeah, and he actually said that in the studio during the match. He said, I haven't tried this deck before this tournament, so let's see how it goes.
Fenrir taking Drogear's cards away, triggering the Commando.
Yeah, and also knowing there's no answer for the Commonwealth means that he can be a bit more aggressive with the commandos as well.
Seems like Fenrir doesn't have too many options here at the start. Looks like he can ramp or maybe drop a Commando. But other than that, not really a play here to get rid of a unit.
Yeah. I'd even be tempted to use the daylight bombing to slow the opponent down.
That may have been the play. Considering Drogear does have a lot of these very late game units, hitting his credits would definitely set him back quite a bit.
I actually think this is going to be a closer game thanks to 2 control decks, you know? So I'm kind of looking forward to see how this one pans out.
Absolutely. Drogear looking like he has a little bit of a better start this time around. Which,
that we
good
can
for
do
him.
it's going
Happy
to
to
get
see
some
it.
good value.
Absolutely. Commandos don't like seeing a lot of hit points on the units. Because, as you know, every time an order is played, they do 1 damage to a random enemy, HQ included. And spreading out, having a bunch of hit points on all those units makes it really hard for Commandos to get that chip damage in.
That's it. And also, Drogear has that Avenger in hand that he can follow up with next turn.
We may see the strategic bombing come out from Fenrir here. Knock a credit slot off, and even a turn after, maybe even see the daylight. Maybe we'll see the ramp.
If he's going to ramp,
getting Drogear getting awfully close to drop that B-17.
Can I ask, as a commando player yourself, would you have put the commando down first, or would you have actually just attacked?
I'm not sure. Usually, placing commandos, it depends on the faction that I'm up against when I play commandos. I think it's a good call for Fenrir to get his commandos out early. Maybe he knows Drogear doesn't really have a whole bunch of that early game removal, so he's probably safe to toss out those commandos. Kind
Yeah,
of develop
his
the board and get
commando's
that
been
pressure
there.
on.
His commando's been there since turn 2, so I think he's got enough information, unless the opponent is baiting out more commandos to use removal with. So,
Right, the commando with the 2 commandos with the we can do it. Really trying to get his footing with the commandos on the board. It seems. Still no super obvious place for him right now, but he's definitely getting that set up.
but by seeing him hover over the RAF,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remove that HP buff. Fenrir going to overdraw here.
Yeah, he read the opponent's going to be overdrawing, so that's going to be good. Especially if he hits a
Oh! Ooh! That's
That
painful.
was a good play.
Oh, Ollie was waiting for that one.
Oh no, that changes his game plan, because that's the thing. Like, he has to now rely on commandos as the way to finish the game.
Absolutely. I don't really think Fenrir has too many heavy hitters aside from that Commonwealth.
Yeah.
That bounce. Right, looks like Fenrir's clearing some of the smaller units on the board. Still a couple medium-sized boys there ready to hit his headquarters. Fenrir also looking pretty low on HQ hit points. Losing one of his commandos with the carpet bomb.
Because I thought he would have wanted to get the damage in that round.
Well, there's no more threat of the Commonwealth there, so
yeah, that's true.
Drogear thinks he can play it a little slower. You see the Night Raid come out. Night Raid, for those who don't know, you actually draw one of your opponent's orders.
Yeah.
It looks like he got one of Drogear's fortifications.
That was actually a good preemptive idea, especially since the opponent does have a AoE removal couple.
Back
it's good that he actually used that.
Taking out his commandos. I think the majority of his commandos are gone now. He may have 1 or 2 left in his deck. Fenrir looking in a really tough position right now. His deck probably really banking on that Commonwealth to be in his hand.
Yeah, but he also did take quite a bit of damage as well, so I'm not sure if he could have reached 30. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Ooh, very lucky with the 17 there. Hitting the Crusader.
Yeah, especially after he got the naval power, he could have really capitalized on that.
Fenrir, a lot of cards in his hands, but not too many options, it looks like, for him. Can't really take that. He can install the B-17, but can't really take it out right away. Getting a few units onto the board now. Drogear still with the Monty in hand, flying his own Mosquito.
That's it, using his own Monty as well. Yeah, it's
P40 might be
it's going to be hard for Fenrir to get out of this situation, knowing that he doesn't have a backup,
Which are coming out from Drogear to stop any orders Fenrir may try to play this turn. Looks like he's going to eat his war bonds if Fenrir doesn't predict it. You hate to see it. He's getting rid of the P40.
Yeah, great move there, getting rid of the P40 so he doesn't get the increased operation cost. Obviously forced to deploy some units, not being able to move because everything was pinned due to Monty.
Sacrificing his P-17 to get that Mosquito off the board. Still quite a bit of units from Fenrir, however. Rogier's Mosquito coming out. We're seeing a lot of similar units between these two.
Yeah, it's almost like that mirror match that Ollie wanted to see.
Fenrir now with his own carpet bombs in hand. Be interesting to see when or how he uses those.
Yeah, I think he's done with trading. I think he's in a pretty comfortable position where he can just...
Yeah, maybe let Drogear spend his credits. Let Drogear spend his credits to defend. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a big reversal here in terms of board control, with Fenrir managing to get some ground here.
Might see the carpet bomb come out from Fenrir now.
I'm just having a look at the deck list for Fenrir, and I don't see any like Pershing or any other like late game finishes there, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do
dropping
to
the
swing
carpet
this
bomb.
back.
A very strong carpet bomb, in my opinion. He may continue to hit the HQ, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing.
Drogear to spend his credits on defense. An Avenger in Drogear's hand. Again, probably not going to get too much value from it now since there's no 5 HP units on the board. Something we've seen quite a bit, specifically with the Avenger. Drogear just not in a good position to play it.
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh. He can't even play that precision bombing either. He doesn't have a bomber on the board and not enough credits to drop the Avenger as well. So it's a bit unlucky.
It's worth noting, however, that Drogear does have the card advantage here, so Fenrir starting to kind of collapse a little bit in terms of the cards. Using the ramp there to get an extra draw, though.
Absolutely. You may see the daylight bombing onto the P40.
Yeah, I think that would be the best, just to ensure. Oh,
or maybe he'll hold it.
Oh,
may save it
no.
for the HQ. He may save it for the HQ.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I'm not sure if I would. I would have definitely got rid of it. Just
it may have been his
like that.
best chance to get rid of that P40.
Yeah.
He's probably regretting that now after.
The Monty though, buying Fenrir a little time.
Oh, the Night Raid there. Let's see where that comes out.
One of his last commandos, another war bomb, another ramp. Now may be the time he decides to going for the heal instead.
I think he did rely on the RNG there, so
probably knows he can save his daylight now that everything's pinned.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the case.
E17 coming out, able to precision bombing the other unit, so both units should probably be taken out here.
I think Drogear will be able to stabilize quite well at this point now. He's got a lot of options and still got a lot of cards in his hand. And there's the Persian from Drogear, which is probably going to be what's finishes again.
Commando, that single commando, probably not too much of a threat for Drogear at the moment anyways, so perhaps saving that precision bombing for a more threatening target. Like this Kitty Hawk that'll stop his E17 perhaps.
Drogear really getting value out of that P40 now.
Yeah.
You're still not playing that that daylight bombing.
I am a little bit confused with that, to be honest. Like, that could have been a point where like he could have applied quite a bit of pressure if he had got with it. And obviously, this is it. Wouldn't have had the value that he got.
Fenrir in the top decking situation, probably wishing he had an Empire of the Sun. Drawing a Crusader though, now he has no choice but to play this daylight bombing.
Empire of the Sun.
A lot of card draw from that Crusader.
Well, he's probably wishing he still had the Commonwealth in his deck, sitting at 36 HP.
I know. He was in a definite position where he could have made value out of that, so it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Losing that Commonwealth, definitely a huge setback for Fenrir. Drogear with a lot of board presence at the moment. A couple big units, a precision bombing still in hand, a Pershing still in hand. Looks like he may go for the ramp here.
Yeah,
Might
just
see
so
that
he can
first
make sure
plate.
that he can use it.
Right, taking the front line with his planes.
Yeah, want to make sure that he can get the purging down and to the front line. Oof. I think he didn't realize that he actually ran out of cards.
Fenrir out of cards. Guess that means he doesn't really have any options. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably it for Fenrir. I'm not seeing any way he can come back from this. Already taking
I'm actually
fatigue.
surprised he didn't put the black watch in the... But he probably already knows, so that's fine.
Drogear definitely taking this game.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Really nice back and forth though.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it
Fenrir
was definitely that
wasn't
long
out
ban
right
that you
away.
wanted. No. But you
That
can see, like,
Commonwealth
he could have...
discard definitely being the deciding factor for sure, however.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fenrir had over 30 cards left in his deck when that Commonwealth got discarded due to that overdraw. So that's like a 1 in 30 chance. If at any point he would have been able to keep that in his hand and have it at the ready, that game would have been in the bag for him, more than likely. But as it stands, 1-1. I don't think we need to wait any further. We can just jump directly into game number 3. We did encounter slight technical difficulties game number 3 with Drogier's point of view, so don't be shocked. But let's get that clip rolling.
All right,
Okay,
Drogear playing his control deck with the discard in it this time.
And this is a very solid air deck that is just a good solid mulligan as well. So typically I like to mulligan out the precision bombing if it's only one bomber, but since there's two, at least there's a high chance that you'll be able to use it at some point.
Drogear with his Monty in hand pretty early on. Kitty Hawk as well. Fenrir also with a pretty solid starting hand, it seems. However, not too many units coming from Drogear that would make these
he obviously
kill
didn't.
orders.
He obviously didn't put the guard unit down, so he didn't get value off the draw.
Fenrir holding on to his second bomber to most likely play it with precision bombing in a single turn. Doesn't want to get them all wiped out right away.
That's it.
Maybe flesh out his hand a little while, drawing the notorious Empire of the Sun. Let's hope it doesn't get snagged by that annihilation.
Yeah. In my experience, this card seems to always target my most valuable card in my hand.
Yeah,
and when you play it, it always targets the least valuable card in your opponent's hand, right?
That's exactly how it is.
I was really debating if you should play that sheet in there. And there we go with it.
Pretty early Sheeden as well. Yeah. Sheeden on curve, not something you see too often.
I think he did that just to apply some heavy pressure early on. And it could have paid off, but obviously we know that Drogear has a Monty. But I'm surprised that he went
instead.
Yeah, to allow the well, then again, it's only gonna take a little bit of damage here, so not even any really. Not gonna take any face damage.
Yeah, those 5 hit points keep him safe.
See, yeah, those were the issues we were talking about. There were some distractions on the feed from Drogier's POV, but we'll be able to still watch the match from Fenrir's POV. We just have to do some extra work, as the casters have to remember. What the cards are in hand. Great value there on the precision bombing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
For when he really needs it, as he should.
Yeah,
getting that face damage in.
Yeah, that Shidden's getting some pretty good value, but as we know, Annihilation will be able to be used on that, and I can hear that he did.
Losing
and got
Mosquito hurts.
Mosquito. Yep.
We're gonna have to see what he draws here. All right, getting some
I
units
think
that he needs.
yeah, definitely put the swordfish and the close air support on one of them will be a really good way to apply some pressure. But maybe he's opting for the options there. But
Perhaps knowing that Drogear has the discard, maybe he wants to flesh out his hand more before he gets set back too much.
mm,
The carpet bomb coming out, taking out his bombers. Fenrir unable to get value or get really good value from the RAAF and the Skua and even the Albacores, as there are
yeah,
no hits from Drogear on the board for him to on deploy. May opt
that's
to
it.
just
And the problem is you can't exactly go wide as well. Well, you can, but that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna go wide, make sure that you have the ultra active as well, so you know that the next order. But then again, you have to obviously consider that it would be used. You know, they could bait out another order, but that might be what it's going for now.
And that's one thing with
Might,
these control deck dittos that we see a lot is control decks can feel very reactionary in their play style, where you want your
mm,
opponent to do something first, and then you play your kill cards on it, like your reaction cards meant to stop it right away. And if both players aren't really playing any units, then there's really nothing to react to, and they just kind of sit there with mostly dead hands, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight one thing that Fender did there. People might be wondering why he was trying to use those close air supports with not enough credits. He was trying to fake out the use of the countermeasure. So he's trying to jiggle his cards a little bit to bait it out.
Let me see.
I was actually wondering if that works if you have 0 credits. So I was curious about that.
Is there a potential for Fenrir to end here? He has 2 close air supports in his hand and a
Yeah,
what is that card? Finest Hour.
I
Very
think he
big buff
could.
cards. I think
Yeah.
he can
No, he
absolutely
definitely
close
has
out the
enough.
game here.
Yeah, he could. I'm curious to
Let's
see
see
if
if he
he's.
sees it. Yeah. He can completely ignore that Sexton and just go for the kill, I believe.
Let's see. I think it's just he sees it. He might be working out the maths for it now.
Looks like he's going for it. That'll be +6 just from the close air supports alone. Oh, not quite enough.
No.
Us in the
enough.
casting booth, pretty bad at math, it seems. But
I'm actually surprised he wasn't using the other one anyway, just to put that pressure, right? And it also gets it out of the bombing.
he can still save it for the RAAF, perhaps. Drogear
That's
may have
true.
to break out that Leopold. Going for the Monty instead. Gonna have to throw up a guard if he wants to save himself from. Oh no, he can't even because the RAAF will just bounce the guard. It looks like
Yeah,
Fenrir
exactly.
probably has this game in the bag.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think Fenrir's got this.
Yeah, he's got it.
Definitely lethal right now. Let's see if he plays it.
He could go multiple ways as well. He could use the precision bombing on the RAF, and then he can use it on the bombers. But obviously, the easiest one is just to use the RAF on anything and just.
And for those who don't know,
Go
Finest
fast.
Hour, it will give your plane blitz. So he'll be able to attack with the RAAF the moment he plays it.
Maybe he doesn't see it at this stage. I'm not sure.
I hope he sees it.
He's definitely giving it a lot of thought.
As he should. Can't be too hasty in these.
Yeah.
Time is ticking. That could make him a little nervous.
You're gonna see the Finest Hour come out. He has lethal.
I know. I don't think he sees it.
No,
No.
Fenrir, no. Fenrir missing lethal here, giving Drogear a chance to come back.
Yeah. I think Fenrir's got him on the back foot here. I don't think he's really worried about it. Plus, he still has a lot of opportunities. no. Once he trades with this, he actually... Oh, it's still lethal, actually. Still lethal. Thanks to the
Yeah, it
position bombing.
is. But Fenrir,
Oh, actually,
forgetting
it's
he has
not.
that
No,
finest
no.
hour.
Oh, no, it is
No,
now. It
it's
is now. Yeah. The
yeah,
HMS. Yeah, that was very risky.
a little worried here.
Yeah.
Playing it really safe though.
I
I'm
think
not
he's
sure
used
if
it
missing
now.
lethal is safe.
Yeah.
But he still takes
Alright,
it
no.
immune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't wanna give anything away or spoil anything, but we had a conversation about that missed lethal after the game was played, and he told us that he was playing around air defense, but Gearbot was quick to point out that he was playing there was no US cards in the deck from Draw Gear in that match, so he could not have had air defense. So he did indeed see that lethal, but chose not to act on it. Didn't matter. Still managed to clutch the game. What did you guys think about that game?
Very exciting. Of course, the missing lethal there, definitely bringing a lot of attention to it. Had me a little worried there that Drogear was gonna come back.
Yeah, he almost did as well. Like that, if it wasn't for HMS, he would have been in a pretty awkward position there.
Yeah, definitely. But now it's time to go into game number 4. The current standing is Fended has 2 wins to Draw Gear's 1, which means that if Fended can clutch this next match, he can secure himself third place spot. Draw Gear fighting for his life. Let's take a look.
All right, Fenrir switching back to his Commonwealth deck again. Let's see if he'll have better luck with it this time.
Probably learned his lesson. It's going to ensure that he hasn't got 8 cards in his hand.
Fenrir dropping the Jasko, but as we've seen, it may not get that much value, seeing as Drogear really doesn't have too much early game damage.
And nevertheless, he's going to use the Kitty Hawk to target the Jasko.
Right. Fenrir definitely looks like he's able to field quite a few more units than Drogear at the moment. The P40 coming out, however, may make it hard for Fenrir to develop more.
Definitely some really good on-curve plays here.
Absolutely. Both players looking like they have some solid options for the early game. Fenrir maybe not a fantastic option to spend his 3 credits on now. Popping the Crusader and not being able to use it right away is pretty risky. Same with the Commando, because there's the chance that Drogear can just kill it right away.
Yeah, you also really don't want to be playing that Crusader into the P40 if you can help it.
However, knowing that, he might have just got enough information to say that his commander was safe after that turn, so he might be more willing to overextend.
Drogear with some pretty meaty mid-range units on the board now. Some pretty scary fighters on the back line. Fenrir maybe not a super obvious option at the moment to deal with them. He does have that strategic bombing in hand. Deja vu.
Was really convenient, yeah.
Fenrir packing that strategic bombing. He may use it now just to take away that credit slot.
Fenrir might also be using his weakened words as well.
Yeah. Buff up that Commando.
He needs to be worried though, because he's got 8 cards again. So if he had a RAF, he could have taken advantage of another overdraw situation here.
Lose the Commonwealth again. That's the point. Yeah, that would be the point we would see Fenrir just walk out of the set.
Yeah, I'll take my headset off.
Fenrir with a full hand right now. You may see a Commando Carpet Bomb or a strategic bombing, perhaps. Yeah. Not enough credits for the Carpet Bomb. A lot of damage to the back line there.
Yeah, nothing favorable when it comes to the commanders.
A really big setup if he wants to use that carpet bombing next turn.
May see an Ultra catch Fenrir's carpet bomb.
So that would be a good way to deal with that.
That would definitely hurt Fenrir quite a bit.
You're going for face.
If I were in Fenrir's position, I'd be so eager to play that carpet bomb looking at Drogir's board right now. We'll have to see. Really
I think he's going to be tempted.
Oh, he's hovering it.
Yeah, 85th and oh no, he went.
Okay. I think that was definitely the smarter play.
Yeah, I agree.
Predicted that the Ultra was played. I think perhaps the daylight bombing might be the better play for Fenrir right now. There we go.
Yeah.
A very strong play. If he's lucky, the commandos might take out both planes. And
there he goes.
Very strong commando ticks right there.
Yeah.
Luck is definitely a factor.
Yeah, you can see the reaction from the players there.
You're not happy about that one. You're not a huge amount of people in hand at the moment.
I think he's hesitating just in case the opponent has carpet bombing as well.
Right, and Fenrir absolutely does still have carpet bomb.
I wonder if he's just thinking maybe you should use Monty first.
Fenrir drawing another commando and a crusader in hand. Unfortunately cannot play both with the state of his backline, only able to deploy one unit.
I reckon I would put down the commando and carpet bombing at this point. This will clear the board again.
Oh, for some reason I thought that was Drogir's Valuk on the front line. No,
I know, me too, actually.
They all have the same cards. It's hard to tell.
I know, I thought the same, but then I realized
checks on that bomb.
Front line
taking it out.
Yeah. At least Avenger will get a little bit of value here.
Potentially taking out that Jasko.
Yeah, but is that Jasko really the unit that you want to take out with that Avenger?
I don't think he really has any other choice.
There is no other choice, so it's something.
Drogir all tournament has not had very many opportunities to play his Avengers, and they've been in his hand from the start in like every single game. I kind of feel bad for him.
So it's good that he managed to get that out now.
Right, looks like we're gonna see the Crusader carpet bomb here.
Yeah.
May clear Drogir's board. Fenrir with a very strong commando engine on the board. Drogir not really packing a whole lot of clear to deal with it. I'm surprised he's playing the bombers. I thought maybe he would have drawn cards. Maybe looked for another option.
See what kind of options he has. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Fenrir does have those we can do it's in his deck.
Oh, and there's the Commonwealth.
Possibly trying to get a Commonwealth buffer up as well, though.
Where's the discard?
Fenrir may be saving those cards for something on the ground. I definitely think Drogir has a chance to get his footing now. Fenrir low on cards. Drogir with plenty of draw cards.
Would you have put the Pershing down on curve at that point?
Not sure.
Just to apply that extra pressure. Because you know that the opponent doesn't have any sort of hard removal, so I would have anyway.
I also think that Draugr here is very much aware that Fenrir could have Commonwealth and really wants to keep him away from that 30 HP threshold on the HQ.
Absolutely. Fenrir packing another daylight bombing, which is also another 2 ticks from the commandos. All right,
And he
looks
gets
like
the
the
mosquito.
tick definitely hit the mosquito, so that's good for him.
And it's going to
He
get
has the
value from
bomber.
the Kitty Hawk as well. Or the airborne, yeah.
Getting some very good board clear from Fenrir here.
I think he still could be hesitating on...
Probably better to deploy the fighter to maybe stop the bomber from going in, I think. But this is
Yeah,
also
but it's only
some
1
good
damage.
frontline pressure as well. Yeah, that is true. Draugr finally getting one of his B-17s. I believe that's his first one this game. So
It is.
yeah.
be a little rough for him to play it though. It's a 1 in 5. Going for the Pershing.
Yeah, that's
Now-
the Pershing that we were talking about.
Now a very large tank on the field. And for those who don't know, if a Pershing is in the front line, your HQ cannot drop below 1 hit point. So eventually Fenrir would have to destroy this Pershing.
It's a very good card on fatigue as well, because you can never lose from fatigue.
Absolutely. Draugr may be unable to get it to the front line, however.
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea from Fenrir to start pushing up half his units, especially now that he's got very limited orders left in his hand.
We may see a Gearbot style play, and he may just use his Commonwealth to draw, but yeah, he doesn't have the last rights combo like Gearbot was having.
Yeah.
So maybe a little rough for him here.
Two
Yeah.
B-17s now for Draugr.
All right. Maybe Fenrir can get a nice order from this. The carpet bomb.
That was a
very
really
nice
good
pull.
Oh wow. He could actually clear the board if RNG works in his favor here.
Absolutely. He still has the attack.
And
as well.
close.
Oh no, attack.
Has to use.
Of course.
That way, both commando picks would have hit HQ. So he did miss out on the same.
Yeah, it missed out a little bit of damage, but that's fine.
A minor misplay.
But what a spell to pull there, getting that carpet bombing. And I just want to point out, at no point did Fenrir have to attack that Pershing. He only used damage from different types of cards to get it down, completely ignoring that 2 heavy armor.
Fenrir running a little low on commandos at the moment. We may see the precision bombing come out and take out one of his final ones.
That's it.
Wait for the face pressure. We're getting the HP buffs, as we know.
He's getting close. Oh.
Probably fishing for an HP kill.
Yeah, maybe a...
Crusader coming a little late.
He's ramped up quite a bit, though. He hasn't been helping out, unfortunately.
Looks like Fenrir will be keeping this commando on the back line. A carpet bomb coming out from Draugr, however.
However, not going to get too much value. You'll obviously be pressured to use it just to get rid of that. Yeah.
Be able to take out 3 units, however.
Yeah.
Get rid of the unit pressure from Fenrir. Fenrir still looks pretty good in the HP department. He does have a lot of credits, so it is very possible that he can heal and play the Commonwealth.
Oh, so it is. Oh, I'm surprised
he didn't play the Crusader.
Yeah.
Very surprised about that.
I think he realized afterwards.
Yeah, very likely that the pressure of playing there in the set is getting to both players a little bit.
Does Fenrir have another fortification in his deck?
Yeah, I would definitely fish for it with Monty right now, and then you could actually end the game. Yeah, he could have ended the game just there.
Like he's playing it safe.
I guess we'll... Yeah, I'll be curious to see what card comes out next turn then.
I feel Fenrir maybe could have ended it right here, though.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out next turn, won't we?
Well, that Monty would have drawn 2 cards.
Does he have a fortification left?
I
I don't
yeah,
think so.
I saw him use. I saw him use what, 2? I think. I
Then
didn't really
he
see
got
him
discarded 1, right?
use. Yeah,
I think he got countered
That's
by
big.
Ultra on 1.
he did actually. No, you're right. Oh, there's a chance there.
Looks like he's gonna play the Night Raid. Potentially get a fortification from the Night Raid.
Oh,
nice!
there it is.
Guys,
Oh, what a way to finish the game.
what a
Oh,
cool Night
so
Raid.
he
Looks
didn't
like he
actually-
okay. I think it's actually
Oh man. How
very cool with that Night.
Wow.
Get you enough to use Commonwealth, because otherwise, as we saw what his last card was, he wouldn't have enough healing if it wasn't for that. So that was super unfortunate.
Yeah, and Dragir having played around that Commonwealth the entire game, pinging the headquarters, keeping it below 30 for pretty much the entire time. But these two spells that he stole, these 2 orders that he stole, the carpet bombing and the fortification, really handing Fender the win.
Yeah, Night Raid is a surprisingly powerful card in the Control Ditto because you know you're going to be pulling powerful orders from your opponent as well.
Yeah, definitely. But that means Fender takes that series 3-1 and becomes our 3rd place finisher. Dragir finishing in 4th, the early frontrunner in a lot of people's minds, coming in 4th. But now we're about to switch the focus a little bit into the finals, guys. That's what we've all been waiting for. But before we start the discussion on the finals and get into the final matches between GK, Sukov, and Gearbot to figure out who will be crowned the 2019 KARDS World Champion, we're going to go for a quick 2-minute break. We'll see you right in a few moments. Welcome back to the 2019 KARDS World Championship. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. We are just moments away from getting into the first match of this best of 5 grand finals between GK Sukov and Gearbot. Joining me as always are our fantastic casters, Cybernetic and Scout. Guys, before we go into the match, let's do a little refresher on the decks that these guys are bringing to the table, starting with GK Sukov. His first tournament deck is a combination between Japan and the Soviet Union. What are we seeing in this deck?
Definitely seeing a lot of aggro, your traditional Soviet Japanese aggro burn deck. He's going to be wanting to get a lot of fast units up to the front line. Definitely going to want to control the front line for the whole game pretty much, and get a lot of big hits in early, and maybe try to take out Gearbot before he can get his setup rolling.
Yeah, the Type 93 and the Katyusha combo is really good to hit some face damage on deployment. So instead of having that one turn delay as infantry, that can really apply some heavy pressure against the HQ quite early on, especially if it's unchecked.
Yeah, and I recall we saw him drawing the Katyushas in pretty comfortable scenarios yesterday, and it actually ended up bailing him out in a couple of tough spots. So if he can keep that draw luck up, definitely could be one of his stronger decks there with those in there. Well, his tournament deck number 2, not that surprising because we know GK Zukov is coming into this with a smaller collection than Gearbot. It is another Japan and Soviet Union deck. We talked about the differences here yesterday. It's what?
One card.
One card. So what is that card again? Just to remind the people at home.
He swapped out a Tora 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 for an Empire of the Sun.
Yeah. And we all know the Empire of the Sun is obviously the MVP card of the tournament so far, so that could be a good swap. And going over to deck number 3 for GK Sukov, that is a USA and Japan deck. It's more of a slow tempo control that we saw him play in his in 2 of the matches against Dragir, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it seemed to be the deck that was getting him more consistent and better results in these controlled matchups. As we know, a lot of these players have a lot of more slower backline control decks, and this one definitely seems to be keeping up with them the best.
Yeah, and I mean, this was the deck where he, truly beat Dragir with him. Obviously, the game number 2, Dragir ended up kind of playing himself when he forgot about that signal regimen in the backline. But switching over into Gearbot's decks, his tournament deck number 1 is a Japan and Germany combo. I'm already seeing some air blitzes in here, and that only means one thing: burn deck.
That's right.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot of burn here. Your traditional burn. Try to get to the front line with your early units and close out the game with your air blitzes and your Bismarck. Also packing a Comet here. Basically that big nasty German burn package with the speed of the Japanese aggro.
Yeah.
That's right. And the Takasagi regiment, that's always a really good inclusion, even in aggro, because just in case if the game goes slower, you need to be able to protect your HQ as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe we saw him bring this deck out yesterday, didn't we?
I believe so. It was the one he lost with.
Yeah,
it was the one he lost with
it was.
in the mirror match, yeah.
Exactly. If we look at his tournament deck number 2, we're coming into slightly more familiar territory with Gearbot. Tournament deck number 2 is a USA and Japan combination. What are we seeing in here, guys?
It's his ramp deck that he used to counter the was it the aggro deck? I think no, it wasn't the aggro. It was
the air deck, right?
Air deck. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a choice pick because he knew that this deck was good against the opponent's air deck. So that was a decision that he made quite early, knowing that the aggro was banned after that win.
Yeah, and we know that GK Zukov isn't running any air-heavy decks, right? So do you think we're likely to see Gearbot run this deck at all?
Potentially. I feel like Zukov may be quite disadvantaged here. As we learned in the interview with Gearbot yesterday, he's very aware of the decks his opponents are bringing, and Zukov is a disadvantage here, and as in he only has 2 decks, really, and so Gearbot may have a pretty easy time predicting what he's going to be up against, and may be able to predict what deck may be best for him to take. So
But
that'll be interesting
even
to
though
see.
even though he only does have 2 decks, if he does use one of the 2, like deck 1 or deck 2, at least he can still swap between them. So there's only 1 card difference. So he's never going to get locked out for the first 2 decks, which is always good in that kind of respect.
Yeah, and as we talked about a little bit earlier, these two have been going back and forth all day, kind of mind gaming each other about what they're going to bring into the first match and so on. But let's go into tournament deck number 3 for Gearbot. That is his Commonwealth Siren. What was it as well here? Siren and Last Rites combo deck.
Yeah, I think definitely I think most of us agree, probably one of the strongest decks here in the tournament. A very scary deck, 2 very lethal options. The Commonwealth playing into the second one with all the card draw. As we saw, he didn't even end with the Commonwealth. He used the Commonwealth to draw his Last Rites combo and end that way. In a way, it's like he has 2 Commonwealths in this deck, one of them not requiring a hit point requirement. So very scary deck for sure.
Yeah, and it's one of the only decks that I've seen that kind of just plays to get all the cards out of the deck and then pull that combo out to finish you off. And this is something that Fender talked about, actually really surprising him, because he had never experienced that before until he experienced that on the tournament stage. So definitely some strong decks for both of these players. GK Zukov probably disadvantaged in terms of the decks department, but he's been able to pull out some amazing play all tournament long, getting him here to the grand finals. But just before we jump into the first match, we're going to take a look at me and the crew taking a little tour downtown Reykjavik earlier today. So how are you guys feeling for your finals?
Nervous, obviously. Very nervous, yeah. I think I have the deck favor. I have the favored matchup. Yeah. Because I have my Commonwealth deck is pretty good against all your decks. And if you pick,
he's already starting the psychology.
Yeah. If you pick the ramp deck and I pick my aggro deck, then you are forced to pick your aggro deck. Yeah. And then I pick my Commonwealth deck.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to start with.
No, are you sure?
Mostly because I haven't decided yet.
I can slip you some of my Icelandic money.
How much?
It's like...
Is it $2,000 US?
25 pounds.
So we're now going to go, after we just ate, we're going to go to Kolaportið, which is the largest flea market in Iceland, and we're going to go look around there. I'm going to have you guys try some shark. Alright, so how are get 2,000 kroner for a full bag of clothes. And you're supposed to get as close to a military outfit as you can, given what we have here.
All right.
So you guys can go nuts. I'm gonna go get the cash.
And we are back. That was from earlier today when me and the guys had a little tour of downtown Reykjavik. It was a lot of fun exploring with them. An absolutely fantastic group of players that came here to Iceland. I feel honored and privileged to have gotten to know them. Just before we start, because I always say just before we start the final match, I want everybody that's watching the stream right now to call at least one friend and tell them to get in here and get involved, because we want to see those stream numbers go up, up, up for the finals. But without further ado, the guys can just go ahead and challenge each other and get ready to go into that match, because we are ready, anticipating, and waiting. Guys, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Absolutely. Been
Let's
looking
do
forward to it
this.
all weekend.
I absolutely cannot wait, and I am so excited to see what decks are these guys going to bring for the first match. I mean, I wasn't lying. You saw it there in the video. They have been mind gaming each other back and forth on this, going like, "Oh, if I bring my Commonwealth, you better bring your ramp."
I've got no idea.
I reckon
Go ahead.
Gearbot should bring out his Commonwealth first off, right? So there's a 2 in 3 chance that he's going to pick an aggro deck, right? And even if it's not and he loses, he can guarantee that he's going to be able to use his Commonwealth the next game. So that might be a mind game thing to do.
Yeah.
I think his mind games may have worked on me, because I don't know what to expect from him, to be honest. He's got me scared.
Well, I mean, I see there's some slight technical issues on getting the match started, but we'll just keep talking. I see the numbers on the stream are climbing. We're now above 200 viewers. If we make it to 300, I'm gonna see if I can get the team here to give everybody a single pack. Doesn't that sound good?
And
if I make that
Dude.
bet with Twitch chat, that I'll ask for that if we get over 300 viewers. How does that sound to everybody?
That sounds amazing. You guys get onto it straight away. A really good way to try to get that Empire of the Sun.
And for those that might have not remembered, the Allegiance offer is 50 packs for $40, and that is what 200 cards, 250 cards.
And I think it might be nice to remind the viewers what's at stake here, Ollie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There is a $6,500 cash prize here, so the difference between first and second place is $2,000. So these guys definitely want to make sure that they come out on top here, and of course, being crowned the 2019 KARDS World Champion.
So we can see that the match has just started.
Zukov opting for an aggro deck. Which one? I'm not sure. We'll have to see if we see an Empire of the Sun or not. But seems like he has a very strong opening hand.
And I can see that Gearbot did go with the Commonwealth deck after all.
The Commonwealth easy win, remember?
That's right.
So he said.
This is the last time I give Gearbot a notepad in a tournament.
It's got a pretty solid start here, actually. I am surprised he didn't go for a more aggressive play, but we'll see how it goes.
Definitely building up a lot of options here. A potential for him to overdraw if Gearbot decides to damage that 33rd Recon Regiment. Looks like it'll be the opposite, though.
Yeah, I reckon, Albacore would have been a really good way to make the opponent overdraw at that point.
Yeah, but I think Gearbot is more focused on what's coming into his hand and less so worried about how many cards Zukov has at the moment. Zukov laying on that pressure nice and early.
And getting that 50%.
Absolutely.
Again, would you have used the Bloody Sickle then to ensure that you had the draw?
I'm not sure, because I think Zukov may be worried that he'll draw too much.
I don't think so. Like, seeing what he's got in his hand, he can't really overdraw.
That's a good point. Oh. Zukov looking like he still probably wants to lay that frontline pressure on with the Mito.
I think so. But he is starting to get to a point where those Bloody Sickles might become dead cards. Well, at least until Gearbot drops one of those down.
Yeah, here's a unit for him to use it on.
Yeah, he can actually clear that now.
He's going to have to use 3 of his Bloody Sickles, though, if he wants to go that way, right? Or 2 of them.
Yeah, but
yeah.
knowing that
I guess-
Gearbot has very limited ground units, it's a really good idea to do that now, to be honest.
Yeah, might
just
as
to
well
make
burn
sure.
them.
You don't want to get into a situation where you can't use them, or you have to use them on your own units, right?
Probably wouldn't want to use them on the recon, seeing as he'll overdraw if he does.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, for sure. Oh, that's actually tempting.
KV1
like
is scary.
KV1. I would have.
KV1 could potentially be very devastating.
I reckon I would have put that down, to be honest.
Oh, maybe.
Because that would have limited Gearbot's options for the following turn.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the KV1, when it is in play, every time your opponent draws a card, they take 2 HQ damage.
Oh, and you can see why it would have been good right now, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the thing with Gearbot's deck is he wants to be drawing a lot of cards, and if Gearbot can't get rid of that KV1, he's going to take a lot of damage from all that draw, or at least
And not only
halt
that,
the draw for quite a while.
And not only that, now that he's actually got the Crusader down, it'd be even better to put the KV1 down now, because now he can't play any orders without taking damage. Even if that order is to remove it too.
Sukov taking his time here, not sure what he wants to throw up there. Looking like we're going to get the double Akita. Continuing to lay that face pressure. Something that I feel a lot of us playing the ladder very familiar with this board state. Gearbot's still holding on to that Monty.
This might be a good turn for him to play it, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
I think
Gearbot still does have the Tora in hand. He still has that Tora. That will take out 3 units.
Yeah.
And then he can pin the Mito.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good opportunity to do the Monty first.
But there is a chance it will kill his Crusader with the Akita death effects. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say
which might be okay.
He would probably want to trade that Crusader first.
Oh, that was a really good top deck there. Because that will definitely help.
Yeah. Gives him that buffer zone.
He has to be conscious about his hand size. We don't want another
losing the Crusader. Maybe not so worried about the Crusader at the moment because he is getting into that overdraw range. So maybe he's kind of happy that he lost that Crusader. Might see the KV1 come out here. Might even see a Shiden come out. Doesn't appear to be too many ways he can do a bunch of face damage at the moment.
Yeah, I think KV1 wouldn't be the best thing to use at this point, knowing that the opponent actually has a full hand, but you know what, yeah.
We may see just the Mitos come out then.
Yeah, I think the Mitos.
Perhaps a Mito in a 42nd.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's it.
Looks like that's what he's going for. Ooh, maybe.
Oh,
okay,
no,
okay. Getting that burn pressure still on the board.
Yeah.
But as we know, Gearbot, as we've seen in the games where he's played this deck, didn't really need the Commonwealth HQ to really close out the game. So HP, hit points maybe don't matter that much for Gearbot.
I definitely feel like Gearbot's in quite good control at the moment.
Gearbot definitely setting up for the Tora, it looks like. Maybe he wants Zukov to develop the board a little more. Okay. Dropping one of the Toras now. Okay. Ooh, second rating brigade coming from Zukov, however.
Yeah, that's going to help out get rid of that bomber, which is probably going to opt for.
Maybe save it for a guard, but it looks like he's going for the bomber anyways. He may move it up. And
yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't know about the Shirin and the Tora, so it's in quite an awkward position at the moment.
Absolutely. This may be a good time for him to drop the KV1.
Yeah, even though we know that he has precision bombing, but it does limit his options again.
Opting to go for the 42nd instead. And
oh, man, he's going wide here, isn't he?
Potentially losing a lot of units here.
Oh, he's going to lose at least 5.
Gearbot checking how many cards he has left.
Guess he wants to check his options first.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
gonna see the Tora do a lot of damage to the board here.
Ooh.
Perhaps Zukov a little eager to get his units out. Maybe should have waited for some more clear to come out from Gearbot, but we'll see how he recovers from this.
I don't know about you guys, but there's something so supremely satisfying by seeing so many units get blown up at the same time.
It is
Yes.
visually appealing, isn't it?
The reason
Yeah.
Carpet Bomb is so popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, you know, kudos to the team at 1939 for sure for making such a pretty game.
Yeah, the animations have evolved quite a bit since the game launched. Well, since the game got out of open beta.
Oh yeah, I've been here since Alpha. I can tell you, it's definitely been a massive visual upgrade.
Oh man, I
Surprised
am
you
actually
didn't,
surprised. Use the Shiden, right? That's what I was thinking as well.
Gearbot probably going to take out this KV-1 immediately. Still has to deal with the 42nd rifles on the front line, however. We may see the Albacore take out the Type 93, followed up with a precision bombing onto the KV-1, and then maybe some pins to get his healing back, and even maybe a guard. He has a lot of
I reckon the
options here.
precision bombing on the KV-1 is definitely going to be the play first. Yep. And then following up maybe with the Tora, maybe. Oh, no, you don't need to, actually, like you said. Just use a pin, like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I kind of forget the Siren can attack. I usually don't see him live that long. It is still, in fact, a bomber. Zukov not going to be... I don't think he's going to get too much Empire of the Sun value.
Yeah,
But
not at this stage.
really any big attack units, yeah.
And that guard unit came just in time to save his Shirin.
Bit unfortunate there. Those 1-5 guards definitely giving Gearbot a nice beefy wall.
Yeah.
The Tora doing a little chip damage. Nothing too exciting. Zukov getting starved for cards right now. Another guard probably going to come out from Gearbot while he stalls to get either his Commonwealth or his Last Rites combo. Two very lethal options that are still very much in play at the moment.
Gearbot does need to get some more draw cards though.
Yeah. Maybe he's hoping for another Crusader. Getting rid of that ambush with the bombers. Tossing out another guard to keep his HQ safe.
You know, I probably would have pinned that 5-7 just to prevent that from going to the front line. To follow up maybe with pushing the guard unit at the front, but...
He may be waiting for a Crusader, however, to get that drawback with those British orders. The 5-7, not too much of a threat at the moment. Not too many options from Zukov here. We may see him play the Empire just for the draw. Gearbot, I don't believe he has too many cards with more than one attack. And as you know, Empire of the Sun, it draws cards based on the amount of attack that the unit that you're destroying has.
He might be waiting for Crusader. It is still quite a bit difference drawing one compared to two, but he might be getting to a point where after this turn he'll have to use it. Otherwise, it's just
getting the draw. Another guard coming out. Zukov probably will not be happy to see that.
No.
We might see the guard in the Tora, perhaps? There it is. Maybe even a pin come out on that 5-5.
Yeah.
Perhaps still saving it for the Crusader.
Oh, he's got enough. He's got the fortifications. Yeah.
Zukov in a really rough position right now, able to take out that one bomber.
Oh, I was actually surprised by that. I'm actually, I reckon I would have used Empire of the Earth at that point.
I agree. Gearbot drawing his second Siren.
No.
Looking a little scary for Zukov at the moment.
Oh, this
Will he go for the roll?
Help
Will he get that 50-50 Katyusha roll?
Or he can just use the Empire of the Sun to get rid of the guard.
Absolutely right. When he gets it,
Oh,
Yeah.
he got it. All right.
might go for face here. That Empire of the Sun, I don't think it's really doing him any favors at the current moment.
Yeah, at least he'll be able to apply 5 damage to face. I think he's going to go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his one Empire gone. Another Amphibious Assault, a better card for getting rid
Yeah.
of those guards.
No,
Ooh,
that's
Gearbot.
it. So that worked out.
Ooh, Gearbot with the bombing raid
Ooh.
just in time, however. Gonna get rid of that
That's
5-2. Not really an option for him to kill the Katyusha at the moment, however. Zukov not getting any options as well. At least he has the Katyusha on board, getting another 50-50 roll in his favor. Ooh, Gearbot with the
and
Amphibious
that
Assault, gonna
is-
take out that Katyusha most likely. Gearbot still waiting for that Crusader, it seems.
Mm.
Or even a Commonwealth. We might see him play another Commonwealth on curve if he draws that before the Crusader. A little
I
low
think
on
he-
hit points at the moment.
I think he needs to. I don't know if he can get back to there, but I think I would use the fortifications now, so that way I have enough hit points to follow up with a Commonwealth on curve.
But if he gets the Crusader first, then that'll be a lot of draw he misses out on. Ooh, top decking
That's
the
true.
Pant.
So it might be
Well,
stolen.
he's top decked from Gearbot. Definitely doing a lot of favors for him.
I wonder what. Oh no!
Oh, unfortunate. The Zukov coming really late in the game.
Yeah.
His namesake card letting him down.
And
There's
there
the
it is.
he draws.
See what I mean? Like now he's pressured to actually use both the fortifications, so he can follow up with it next turn.
I think the play for him right now may be to deploy the Commonwealth.
No, that's very risky. I would, yeah. If
Zukov
he's probably just
going off
checking
by
the
with.
list.
Yes. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
he's
if
checking the
Zukov
list
can
to
do that
see if he can do
damage.
anything.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean this is a tricky situation. He has to kind of choose which one he wants to go for here.
Yeah, I think he's I think he worked out the maths where based on obviously the deck list, he probably realized that he's not going to be able to do 9 damage this turn.
Zukov clearly not happy with what he's drawing right now. This may be it for him if Gearbot pulls off the last rights combo. Gearbot definitely
He
drawing
will.
some
Yep.
cards.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, there it comes. With all the draws coming out.
Will he have enough? Will he have enough credits to pull this off?
Yeah, he will.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Yeah.
And there we
I
go.
didn't see that convoy. Yeah. Oh, here we go. 3 for 3. This is how he ends it with the Commonwealth deck.
Yeah.
Commonwealth turning out to be just a very fancy draw card.
Wow, that was again that deck. I mean, it continues to amaze me. You know, just watching that combo play out, and it seems to work every time. I mean, sure, a couple of draws could have gone a little bit better for Zukov. That Zukov could have come a little bit earlier, but outside of that, a really, really, really controlled game coming out of Gearbot.
Absolutely. Definitely pretty much the exact same things we've been seeing compared to his first 2 games. Drawing the cards with the Commonwealth and just playing that right into the last rights.
Those guard units are doing a lot of favors for the price, you know, getting 1/5 stats line. It's a very good way to slow down aggro for sure. Even in the mid game.
Buying a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what I really like about that deck as well is that it isn't locked into a single win condition. We've seen him now win with that deck without using Commonwealth twice. So, but standing by with Gearbot after that victory is everybody's favorite, Thomas.
Hi, I'm here with Gearbot. Congratulations, Gearbot, for the first win in the finals of the KARDS World Championship. Very nice played. What can you tell us about the match? How did it go? what's your perspective?
I mean, I was pretty nervous at the end because I wanted to save the fortifications for my Crusader, but it ended up being in the bottom 2 cards. But I know his list pretty well. I went over it a lot, so I knew he didn't have any surprise damage because he already played the Sheathen, the Bombing Raid. So I just played the Commonwealth to draw cards. Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well for you at the end. Now you said you knew that your opponent didn't have these cards.
Yeah.
Have you memorized all the?
Not all of them,
but the key cards.
Yeah, you pay note to the cards that are gonna be the most important, right?
Right. And what's your strategy then in the game? Are you noting it down? I see you taking notes
Yeah.
on key cards so that you don't forget it.
It's extremely important with this Commonwealth deck too that you don't that you save a removal for when he has the KV, which deals 2 damage to me whenever I draw. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a pretty big disaster.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good, very good. Now with one victory in the bag, how does it feel going to the next matches now? More confident or still super tough?
I think my Commonwealth deck is slightly favored against all his decks, but I think his burn decks are favored against my decks. So.
Right, and in the next match, you need to choose a different deck.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see how that goes. Good luck to both of you. May the best win. And with that, of course, I go give back to Oli, our host.
Thank you for that, Thomas and Gearbot. It's always fantastic to be able to catch the thoughts of these players right after they finish their games. With me, as always, Scout and Cybernetic. We're about to head into game number 2 in this series. What decks do you think we're going to see from these players now?
I think we might see Zukov's other aggro deck. Not too sure what Gearbot is going to bring. It sounded like he wasn't too comfortable with both of his decks versus Zukov's aggro. So we might see a little back and forth here.
I reckon based on the lineup that he's got, I really think that his US deck has got a better chance against this because he's got the Greyhounds to go catch the Katyushas as well as the actual AA guns as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at this and I started thinking, I wonder if this could be some sort of mind game from Gearbot. Maybe he just doesn't want Zukov to bring his US slower deck into this next matchup. So he's talking about, being disadvantaged against the aggro, because one of the things we talked about yesterday was that his US deck actually deals pretty well with early game aggression, right?
Mm.
Yeah, with the Greyhounds and the artillery pieces that buy him a lot of time to get his ramp going. Absolutely.
So I'm wondering if maybe he's trying to pull some more mind games, in terms of what deck's going to be fielded. But I have to agree with you. I think we're likely going to be seeing Zukov bringing his other aggro deck, but I'm a little bit perplexed because that means that in the match number 3, if he ends up losing that next match, Gearbot can bring his Commonwealth deck back, and you're probably not going to want to play your slow control US deck into that either.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, Zukov only having these 2 deck options might do him in. He doesn't really have too many options to go up against Gearbot with.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Cyber.
Yeah, so seeing that the Commonwealth is going to be a deck that I'm almost 100% gonna select every second game. I think that's the plan, the goal plan with Gearbot. I reckon he's gonna even if he loses the next game, right? He could bring out his Commonwealth deck every second game. He's already got the advantage by having the 1 win, so he could literally just keep going Commonwealth all the way to the end of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does leave him, putting him at risk at maybe dropping a couple of games, which we know that Gearbot just doesn't like to do. He's obviously 3 games so far that he's dropped this entire tournament. Absolutely been dominant throughout, but we know that the players are getting ready to get into the next match. We're ready when they are. My prediction here is that we're going to be seeing the ramp deck from Gearbot against one of the aggro decks from Zukov. But let's see as they start loading into the game. The bunker has been filled with smoke, so excuse my coughs. But yeah, as we can see, the players are in the match, and we are live for game number 2 in this best of 5 finals of the 2019 KARDS World Championship between GK Zukov and Gearbot. A $2,000 difference between first and second place is on the line. Let's see who takes game number 2. Take it away, Cyber and Scout.
Looks like both players opting to go aggro. I think it's kind of surprising from Gearbot to also play his aggro.
And GK Zukov with the amazing first hand there.
Absolutely. What a very powerful. Definitely doing favors for him this game, unlike last game where he kind of got nothing from it.
Oh, yeah. Gearbot's hand right now is not going to do him any favors anytime soon. Especially getting that Katyusha to deal with it.
A very strong opening by Zukov.
Yeah.
An immediate takeover of that front line. I think that Katyusha might be the best play for him right here to get rid of that card.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep that push going on up front.
This is going to be a quick game, guys. Very quick game.
So, yeah. He may
now
just
he can follow up.
bombing raid here and go full face. Looks like that's what he's going to do.
It.
A ton of face damage right now. Really early on.
Might be the actual fastest game.
Only his 4th turn and gets
and
the roll.
50% going off
already
as well.
On 6 hit points.
Oh, jeez.
Really unlucky hand for Gearbot at the moment. It looks like he'll finally be able to play his Rising Suns as well.
Yeah, at least one of them.
His hand back up. Continue to lay that pressure on to the HQ. Let's see if he gets another 50-50 roll. He does not. Still 4 hit points.
But he does have the Type 93.
Gearbot maybe hanging it up right now.
Yeah.
Gearbot knows it's over. Yeah, a very fast.
I think he understands. I think he just sped the game up, which is understandable. Wow.
And just like that, we are tied in this final series. Well, they surprised me at least, going aggro versus aggro. Zukov really getting a running start there in that game.
Yeah, the aggro decks seem to be letting Gearbot down. That's the deck that was his only other loss as well against Fenrir. It looked like he had a really unfortunate hand there.
Yeah, we were, as you guys saw, we all were surprised to see that he actually picked that deck. We were almost confident that he was going to definitely pick the ramp deck at that point. But the good news is I do have some water for that burn, so here you go, guys.
Yeah, I got it. Got your back. We're gonna make sure to really fill the bunker with smoke the next time these guys both bring burn decks. But I mean, yeah, like we talked about, that ramp deck being really good at dealing with the early aggression. With those what is that in there? That with those guard units and the Greyhounds we talked about. So maybe a slight misplay. We know that obviously Zukov can bounce between those two aggro decks as much as he wants, but obviously Gearbot now has the Commonwealth deck available to him again in the next match, so let's see if he will bring that. But as always, Thomas is standing by with the winner of this match, GK Zukov. Let's head over to Thomas.
I'm here with GK Zukov, who just won his first match in the finals in a very impressive way. Congratulations for this very strong win of that match. Thanks. Yeah, I think I know that was the fastest match in the whole weekend series so far. Did it just work out as planned? Did you expect such a really fast win?
I think perhaps not that fast. I went from getting Zukov after I'd seen all my infantry to getting him right at the beginning, which makes a big difference. But I do feel that matchup favours me because I have bloody sickles, I have Katyushas, and I have Toras, which can ping Gearbot's tiny units. but it can still go either way, for sure.
Well, in this case, it went very well for you. Now it's 1-1. Both of you have won one match. What's your prediction for the next match? I mean, we know you're super strong, with aggressive decks now. You were a little bit in trouble, but not too much. In the previous match, you were quite strong there too. You have to choose a different deck now in the next match. So tell us more about your strategy there.
Well, so I've still effectively got both my options open to me, because I can go back to the other burn deck, or I can play the ramp. Gib has to pick between the ramp and the Commonwealth deck. But then what we each pick now also influences what we can pick in the game after. So I don't know what the correct answer is, and I don't know if Gibbot knows what the correct answer is either.
So it's not just about the following match, but also
the
match after the match, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But then obviously, whatever the matchup is, we then have to play, and actually, whichever one of us is favoured won't definitely win that matchup. So there is that as well.
Definitely some mind games going on here as well. Who is playing what happens then, and so on.
I don't know how much both of us have got in our own heads rather than each other's, though. So
right.
There is
anyway, good luck with that. I'm really super excited for the next match. Pretty sure you are as well. So with that, we go back to our host, Oli, and then to the next matches.
Thank you for that, Thomas. With me is Scout and Cybernetic, as always. It's really interesting to kind of hear those thoughts. Sukov already, obviously playing a huge role in that win, his namesake card. But what do you guys think we're going to see in the next match?
I think definitely probably going to see the Commonwealth from Gearbot. That seems to be the deck he's really relying on to carry him through this. I'm really not sure from Zukov. I feel like Zukov knows he's going to bring his Commonwealth deck, or maybe perhaps Gearbot's playing us all and he's going to bring his ramp deck. Who knows? But I'm not sure what would be better against that for Zukov.
Do you think it makes more sense for him to try out his US deck against the Commonwealth deck instead of just repeating the same? I mean, well, obviously he did get pretty close to taking Gearbot out with his aggro deck there in game number 1, but do you want to roll the dice on that again, or do you want to see if another option pans out better for you?
Yeah, I think Zukov's best bet here is to maybe play his air deck and try and snag that win, because if he gets a win right now, that means Gearbot won't have Commonwealth for the fourth game, which would be a huge for Zukov.
Yeah.
I know that Pershing is really good against both his win conditions. If he can get that into the front line, which obviously he does have an answers to, so that's why he would be maybe forced to try to bait out the precision, because if it is Commonwealth versus this air deck, right, the US air deck, then it's going to be a control-based game. It's going to be a long, drawn-out game. You can start using mind games and certain plays to kind of bait out those types of cards, especially if lethal's threatened.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into the next match, I want to make a quick correction. The difference between first and second is $1,600, not $2,000, but that is $3,200 for first place, along with obviously the trip to Iceland, and then $1,600 for second place. So there's still a lot of difference between these two places, so a lot to play for these guys. I also want to say that we have confirmed that if we break 300 concurrent viewers, the amazing team at 1939 Games will give everybody a free expansion pack as the expansion comes out. So go out there and tell your friends. And with that, we're ready for the players to start challenging each other and get into this game number 3 of the series. This is a best of... Oh, this is game number 3. Yeah, this is game number 3 in this best of 5 series between Gearbot and GK Zukov in the grand finals of the KARDS 2019 World Championship. The players are just selecting their decks, and we're just moments away from game number 3 here. Guys, your predictions? Are we going to see 2-1 for Gearbot after this, or do you think Zukov's going to be taking it?
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of rooting for Zukov now. He seems like he's kind of been the underdog in this for a while. And I don't know, he's got a little place in my heart now. I kind of want to see him pull this out. Of course, me and Gearbot are friends. I don't want to see him fail, but you know, Zukov is he's getting my favor a little.
Well, we all do want those close games. So if he does win, I hope it does end up with a 2-2, so we get to a nice finale for the ending there, a really good climatic finish. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure how that Commonwealth deck is going to go against the US one if he does select that. So I am curious to see what happens out of that. So I can't really gauge, but obviously Gearbot is good against both his other aggro decks there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really want to see some new decks coming out here. I really want to see that. I mean, personally, I want to see both those US decks fighting against each other. If I'm being honest, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, we're definitely seeing the US deck here from Zukov.
Yeah, and the Commonwealth deck from Gearbot.
All right, so just what we predicted is, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Gearbot is very.
I think this may be Zukov's best chance to beat the Commonwealth here, and this may be Zukov's best chance to take the game or to take the whole set.
Yeah, I mean, if Zukov can take the win here against the Commonwealth deck, he's able to kind of stagger that rotating back into the Commonwealth deck for the 3-2 win condition in the whole series that Gearbot is kind of playing towards. So definitely a huge game for Zukov here if he can clutch the win.
Zukov with the Jasko out, Gearbot gonna have to get rid of that, which it seems like he'll definitely be able to do with that amphibious assault he just pulled.
And he does have some gunship missions there. That's going to help out with the heals. So that's obviously a really good card. And he does actually end up getting the Pershing quite early. So that's good to know.
Yeah, Pershing definitely going to be, should be a pretty important card for Zukov here, as it can stop both of Gearbot's win conditions.
I'd be tempted to use the Death from Above here, knowing that it's only the one unit.
That's what one of Gearbot's biggest units.
It is actually. As we can see, Gearbot does have an answer for the Jasko.
Yeah. Zukov getting a little ramp off.
Regardless of how much defense it has.
Is that both Empires in hand for Zukov? Not great cards in this matchup. Gearbot very resistant to Empire of the Sun. A little unfortunate that he has them both this early on, but we'll see how he deals with that.
All right, yeah. So Gearbot's full of cards now, so we'll have to be we'll be forced to start using some of his cards.
Strategic bombing coming out. He may gimp Gearbot's credit flow at the moment, or he may wait until Gearbot gets a ton of opting to use the Empire this early on.
That's a smart idea, because he already knows that he only has like a few targets that has 2 in there, so might as well get rid of it out of the way now.
Yeah, very good from Zukov, realizing what you guys were talking about. You know, that there aren't really a lot of targets for him to use the Empire of the Sun on in the deck that Gearbot is running.
Yeah, Gearbot's kind of in an awkward position where it does have a lot of draw cards at the moment.
Alright, looks like he's getting his first guard out. Second raiding brigade. I think he should actually take out the guard with that, to be honest. Or opt for the strategic bombing.
Yeah, and then he can use
the gunship mission. Or he may go for the war bonds here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go for the war bonds here, because then you can follow up with the raiding brigade.
Or look at his credit curve right now. He could squeeze another credit out of it if he waits a turn, because he's about to hit the 12 credit mark. So if he uses it next turn,
that's true. Maybe he's waiting for that. Yeah, that could be what he's doing.
Maybe you guys could explain that in a little bit more detail for the people at home.
Go ahead,
All right, so War Bonds, basically what it does is it gains 2 credit slots, and you get to draw an extra card the following turn. The reason why you want to wait until turn 12 is because that's the cap for the soft cap for credit slots naturally. So you want to make sure that you get that before start using it. Otherwise, you're not going to get an additional 1, just like what you just got there.
I think air defense is a good call here. One of the very few units or few chances he might even get to play it.
That's it. And he wants to obviously get rid of the bombers just to avoid that precision bombing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Gearbot perhaps reading that an air defense was played.
We'll see. He might want to bait it out. We'll see.
See.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that hurts his chances to use the precision bombing, however.
Oh, not really. He might be forced to use his the Chiran.
Yeah, but the Siren is not something you want to be deploying with the precision bombing, you know?
No, only in emergencies like with the Pershing.
Zukov, usually we see the last rights do all that damage when they're at like 16 or lower hit points. Zukov keeping his hit points up this time around. So the last rights alone might not cut it.
No, it won't. Which is why I think that this deck is the best.
Gearbot with the Commonwealth in hand.
Oh, there we go.
Looking very scary for Zukov right now.
And
the
very
Commonwealth
healthy
and the full last rights combo in hand. We may want to see the Persian come. Oh no, but Gearbot still has that precision bombing.
Exactly.
It's very scary, and as we know, Gearbot definitely is most definitely keeping track of that Pershing as well.
That's it. And Pershing won't make much of an effect if he does put that out, say on turn 11, because he's still going to be ending up with three life afterwards anyway. So, yeah, I think Zukov's best bet is to start applying heavy damage right now.
Absolutely.
Try to get down below. Ooh, that was a really good top there.
Absolutely.
Not sure if he's actually going to get enough to be able to get past that, so no doubt.
That's also another good pull. The second raiding
Yeah.
brigade able to take out Zukov's draw probably, and the Hellcat. Potentially follow up with a pin. There we go. We're gonna keep his HQ nice and healthy, or save the Monty. All right, he's gonna save the Monty.
Yeah.
The
I'm curious to
Corsarians.
see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he's actually going to use the Commonwealth next turn, knowing that he's going to overdraw at that point. It will pull obviously a lot of pressure on GK Zukov, but is it worth it though?
I don't think the overdraw is really that big of a deal for him, because he already has the last rights and both Sirens in his hand.
Oh, he did use it. Yeah, he did.
Oof, so it's gonna be hard. Real hard for Zukov to recover from this.
Yeah.
You may want to. I don't know if he can. Gearbot might have lethal next turn.
Yeah.
With the last rights. Oh, he doesn't. He has the one Monty to draw. Zukov actually but the Monty, that'll pin everything. And buy him
I know what
another
he's trying to
turn.
do. He can actually do 6 damage, but he needs to build the board first.
Yeah.
Because he can put both Chirans down and both Toras, and that's lethal there. So that might be what he's going to go for. Maybe he's going to put one of those Chirans down.
Well, he had to get rid of that Pershing.
Oh, no, he's got enough. He's got enough. He can just bring it out next turn. So he has to heal this turn if he wants to survive.
Absolutely.
Well, that was good. Got the bombing. So he will survive the following turn.
Do you think maybe it would have been better for Zukov to save his Jasko for later in the game? Instead of playing it like turn 1?
Yeah, I didn't understand what the incentive there was. Like maybe I would be more tempted if he say pushed those guards onto the front line and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think that was the best play, putting it down first turn, knowing what this deck play is like.
This might be the end for Zukov here, however. Gearbot
It
playing
looks like
his last
Gearbot.
rights. Ooh, there's his draw. Most likely going to draw into a kamikaze. Ooh!
No,
Very unlucky
didn't.
draws for Gearbot.
I know, that's what he's waiting for, and that's why he's keeping those cards there.
Gearbot, I
But
still
now,
think he's in the better position, however.
yeah, at this stage.
He has plenty of chances. He has so much HQ health to just stall and draw what he needs.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of cards left in his deck either.
Yeah, nine left. So it's gonna be like, you know, very likely he's gonna draw one next turn. There it is, and that's
there it is.
Oh.
Zukov put up a good fight, but
and the Tora.
gonna seal the deal.
Unfortunately, he didn't apply enough pressure to keep the HP down. But otherwise, he was doing really well.
Yeah, definitely one of the closer games we've seen against his Commonwealth deck. Still pulling out that victory, but
I mean, I'm still struggling to see, you know, how you shut down that deck completely. It seems like whenever he plays it, he finds a way to stall all the way until the end. Where, you know, he had 9 cards left in his deck at that point, and 8 of those were kamikaze cards, right? So the chances of him not drawing what he needed were pretty much next to 0.
Yeah, like as he said in a previous interview, like one of the things that he knows is the weakness of that deck was Air Britain, okay? And the reason for that is the bombers, okay? So that's the reason why he swapped out for Amphibious Assault, because he wants to make sure that he can get rid of them after they've been buffed as well, see? But if you can beyond the 3, like if you get to 4, he's going to have a hard time removing that. He'll be forced to use his precision bombing at that point, because guards won't make a difference for bombers, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be curious to see what happens in the next match. Obviously, Gearbot can't bring this deck into the next match, so we might be seeing Zukov taking it back to a 2-2 tied scoreline. But currently, the score stands 2-1. Gearbot is leading, having won both his matches with that Commonwealth deck. And as always, he's standing by with our interviewer, Thomas.
I'm here with Gearbot. You just won the second match in the finals of the World Championship. 1 match victory away from the title.
Yeah.
How do you think is the next match going to be?
I mean, I'm guessing I'm gonna lose it. Like I said, I'm pretty unfavored because I have lots of 1 health units and he has Toras and Sickles. But there's always a chance.
Right, and assuming you would lose the next match.
Right.
What's your chances then on the
I'm
on the
pretty
final
confident in the Commonwealth matchup, but if he got like a Zukov turn 1 into Cossacks, that could be a problem, for example.
Right. So, but all in all, what would you say? How you feel? Confident, nervous?
I'm very nervous, yeah, but Commonwealth deck has served me well so far.
Yeah, and definitely with a 2-1 lead, GK Zukov must win the next match.
Yeah.
So the pressure's not on you. So that might be a little bit of an advantage. However, you mentioned your deck, so I'm really excited how the next match will go. And let's not delay it. Let's go back to our host Oli and then to the next match.
Thank you for that, Thomas. But as everybody knows, I'm actually a huge fan of delaying the matches. So let's bring our casters, Scout and Cybernetic, back in here for a little talk. But before we go into the next match, I would actually want to play the interviews with both of these players where we got to know them a little bit better yesterday. So we can probably have production cue those up for us. But this next match could be the decider. We've seen Gearbot lose 1 match before yesterday. It was the same deck that he lost with. Now we're in the same position again. Do you think that Zukov has what it takes to bring this back to a level scoreline, or is Gearbot going to take this 3-1?
I'd be surprised if Gearbot brought his aggro deck again. I'm not sure. I think his Gearbot's best play is to play his US deck, his own ramp deck. But as he was saying, it might be rough for him with both decks to even deal with Zukov's aggro, especially if
Because
Zukov gets the luck he had that other game where he won.
yeah, and when it comes to just like what he said in the interview, when it comes to mirror matches, especially when it comes to burn, it really does come down to mulligan and luck, obviously, of the draws. So he might be just like banking on that. Like, what are the chances that he's going to get Zukov and Kozaks again, right? Like, maybe he's just going to bank on that. It's like, sure, that's a once-off. Sure, I'll accept that loss, but I'm going to go in, guns blazing next time.
Yeah, and I mean, both players are probably pretty nervous right now. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're on the Gearbot side or if you're on the Zukov side. This match could decide the tournament, so you definitely want to be bringing your A game. But before we jump into that match, yesterday I sat down with GK Zukov and got to know him a little bit better. Let's play that clip.
Hello, I'm here with GK Zukov, one of our finalists in the 2019 KARDS World Championship. GK Zukov, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, so my name is Varun, which people also pronounce Varun, all sorts of ways, and I go by GK Zukov on KARDS, which is a handle that I've used in the past. It was just happened to fit with the theme this time, and I happened to get Zukov as my first elite from the pack, which I guess was destiny in that sense. So that was after I picked the name. I'm from the UK. I'm a youth counsellor, so a psychotherapist is my job. I started playing KARDS, I suppose I joined when the open beta came about, but then didn't play for a couple of months and then started playing. I've ended up playing more aggressive decks in this tournament because of what I have available to me, but in general in card games I'm more of a control player, and sometimes just a bit of kind of random jank nonsense player.
I get you. But you have considerable competitive experience from other card games, right?
So I don't know if you know the card game company Fantasy Flight. I was world champion of one of their games a few years ago, and a couple of national champions as well.
Wow.
But that was in the past in different games, so it doesn't necessarily mean I can go anywhere with this.
Well, you're no stranger to the limelight, at least, and playing in world championships, that's for sure. It probably gives you a leg up on some of the other components.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing some information about yourself, and good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was GK Zukov telling us a little bit about himself, but we also sat down with Gearbot and learned a little bit more about him. Let's roll that clip as well.
Hello everyone, I am here with Gearbot, one of our 4 finalists with us here in Iceland. Gearbot, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jakob Sandström. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Sweden. I actually live like 1 train station away from Drogir, so that was fun to find out because we had been chatting in English before we knew we were both from Sweden. Yeah, currently I'm studying, and I had to take a break from KARDS actually for finals, you know.
Oh yeah, you're going through finals now?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Not right now.
How did it go?
It went well. I got the highest grade. Yeah, of course.
Nice, congratulations.
Highest grade, finalist. Everything is going great so far.
Your life is just on the up and up.
On the up and up, yeah.
Awesome, that sounds so good. And you're our youngest competitor at 19.
Yeah, by quite a bit, right?
Yeah. How does that feel?
I actually think it's great. You know, the other guys have been really nice, and yeah.
Do you feel like, you know, being younger gives you a competitive advantage in terms of like mental stamina or something?
I don't think so. I think it's a lack of experience too if they have played like a lot of card games.
Yeah.
But it has gone well so far.
And now, you know, you're 19, you're competing here in the World Championship. You obviously have a knack for card games. You know, is this something that you envision as a potential career path for you to become a professional gamer or esports athlete?
I mean, that would be fun, yeah. I'm currently studying medicine, so it depends on how fun I find that, I guess.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Just a final thing, you know, you are the youngest competitor here. the players of KARDS tend to be a little bit older.
Yeah.
What would you maybe want to say to some of the younger players out there looking at KARDS, thinking about, should I get into it? Is it, for me? What would you say to them?
Like, it's a great game. It's my favorite card game, and I have played like every digital card game there is because I'm a card game nerd.
Awesome.
So just do it. Don't
Just
worry about
do
the
it.
age. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gearbot, and good luck in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely awesome getting to know these guys a little bit better. We have players in the finals, we have players from the UK, from Sweden, and from China, for very different backgrounds, different ages, but they were all brought together here by the power of gaming and by the power of KARDS. Let's bring Scout and Cybernetic back with us here. Guys, we're about to head into game number 4 in this championship series. This could be the one that decides it all. The players are getting ready to challenge each other, and they can just start getting into the match. But just before we get into that, how do you think this one's going to play out?
Well, Gearbot isn't going to have his Commonwealth, so it's kind of what he's putting all his eggs in right now. Probably gonna. Well, we're guaranteed to see the aggro from Zukov, his only other deck, but here we go.
Here we go, and
There
this is
you
the
go.
matchup that I talked about wanting to see, that US ramp deck that can deal with early aggression from Gearbot in this match number 4 of the KARDS 2019 World Championship. The scoreline currently stands at Gearbot having 2 wins and GK Sukov 1. If Gearbot can clutch this one, he will take the championship, the $3,200. Take it away, Scout and Cybernetic.
All right, Gearbot with a really heavy hand there at the start. Not too many early options. The early options being the Greymane and the 1/3 Japanese artillery.
And the air defense. Yeah. But he might be opting for a amphibious assault next turn. We'll see.
Maybe, but Gearbot, a lot of heavy hitters in his hand.
I can see the
collapse
cubing
to this right away.
Yeah, he's already under pressure right now.
Zukov not doing any HQ damage yet. Compared to his last game where he was getting a ton of early pressure, he's not quite getting it here. We may see the first signal regiment in the Akita.
Definitely a safe time to actually put down the first signal regiment after the amphibious assault was used.
Going for the draw.
He could go for the draw again. Yeah, opting again not to do the HQ damage, which is very surprising.
I think an option maybe he could have done there was bloody sickle his own Akita and do 3 damage to the face. But
maybe actually,
we'll see.
But I still would have gone for the draw. I think just to keep my options open.
Katyusha coming out as well in his hand, potentially start putting on that face pressure, or he could drop the 2nd Radiant Brigade to take out that 2/2 U.S. infantry. Looks like that's what he's gonna do. Get that front line pressure going up nice and early. Gearbot with the option to clear all of it.
Oh, here we go. That was very good, to line that up. But it's gonna take a lot of damage.
Yeah, taking 5 damage here still.
Yeah. But because of the denial of damage from before, just not taking any damage.
The air defense gonna eat that Katyusha.
That's right. It worked out really well. But again, taking that damage from the first signal regiment.
I mean,
a little bit of heals now.
We have seen what that first signal regiment can do in Zukov's deck against Drog here. So
the infamous Drogear matchup, yes.
Forced to use it on his own.
Not fantastic options for Zukov at the moment, I don't think. Maybe wanting something a little bit bigger.
I got the 50-50 as well.
It's the Mito. Gearbot down to 10 hit points.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of that first signal if he wants to ever stabilize.
Yeah, Given what he has in his deck, what are his ways to stabilize now? What's the card that he needs to find?
Well, I think the gunships are gonna help a lot. Ooh, this is looking really rough for him.
Yeah.
I lost the cards list. Oh, okay. Honestly, I think he needs to pull his gray mains or his artillery. Like all of his early game cards, he's just not
he's
getting.
got none of his early. Yeah, like gray mains and all that. That's the main thing.
I think this deck really banks on just getting at least some of those cards early on. Gearbot with a super unfortunate draw. Not really packing any heals outside of gunship mission, and he's already used his bombing raid as well. Having to use the B-17.
He did get the first signal, which is great.
Yeah, that was a really good 25% roll for him there on the random enemy unit.
Zukov potentially able to close it out here if he chooses to draw into something.
Oh, getting the 50-50.
The bloody sickle. Also getting that 50-50. Ooh, a Tora.
I'd be almost tempted to chuck everything out, even the Toras, just to make sure that the and
then put him in range for his 6th airborne guard.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think that's what he's looking at as well.
Absolutely.
And the Mito regiment there.
Yep, that's right. I think that's
Zukov in a very good position right now. Gearbot only having those gunship missions to heal him.
Which he will do, but it's not going to make a difference, unfortunately.
Yeah, that seems to be his only option. I think
Yeah,
Zukov's going to take
this. Is going to go to a 2-2,
Going to a
guys.
game 5.
Yeah. Well, if he does heal now, actually, he does survive.
Yeah. Well,
he does survive.
Yeah. Still living a turn.
I wonder what he's going to do.
Zukov, one credit short from being able to end. He
actually, he's not actually game now, because the thing is, like, if he loses,
I think he should.
No, it's very close.
Yeah.
Play the 6th airborne 100%, because then the Mito's threatening lethal at that point, and then he has to hope that he gets something like this is it. Maybe that'll be something.
Maybe he should go for the airborne and just.
Okay. No,
going for the draw,
which is interesting.
Okay.
Because if he loses the front line, that's going to be a big problem.
He can still hit face with his Mito, however.
Yeah.
And kind of taking away the chance for him to take the front line away, so. Gearbot's best play here might be to use the amphibious assault on the Mito regiment and then move his B-17 to the front line.
No, that won't make a difference. Oh, no, it does. It will make a difference. No, you're right. Yeah, that would be the best shot, actually. I wonder if he'll see that. He could even use from the Emperor as well. For the Empire. Just to get those additional draws.
Get a ramp off?
That's very risky. That's gonna.
Don't think Pershing is the play here. I really don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of other options that could come up.
I think his best play is to get that B-17 into the front line.
Especially knowing.
That's gonna be game.
Yeah.
2 lethal options for Zukov right now.
Going for the Shiden, I assume.
Maybe. No, because he's already triggered with air defense anyways. So. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel. Go ahead.
There we go. We're going to a match number 5.
For game 5.
Wow, this is close.
I don't think we could have written the script better than this. Man, we're going to Game 5, and we have Gearbot going to be playing probably the Commonwealth deck there, something that he
Oh,
has
absolutely.
not lost with so
Yeah.
far this tournament. Coming true, his prediction that Zukov could really give it to him on his other decks. So now is the question, has Zukov learned enough to be able to deal with the Commonwealth deck? What is he going to do?
I'm not sure. It seemed like he was closer with his aggro deck in the first game than he was with the second deck. That maybe it could have been unfortunate draws, but there's a chance. I think it's leaning more towards Gearbot here to have this, but it might come down to luck for Zukov to take this one. Interested to see what deck he picks. Yeah.
As Gearbot said in his interview, right? If he does go with the aggro and gets the first turn Cossacks, that could obviously add a lot of pressure on Gearbots quite early in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Nobody knows but the players themselves what they're going to do in this fifth and final game. But before we jump into that, let's switch over to Thomas, who's sitting here with the winner from Game 4, GK Zukov.
I'm here with GK Zukov, who just won the second game, his second game. Congratulations! That was a good comeback and a must, because, well, if you wouldn't have won, it would have been over. Now it's 2-2. How much of a pressure is it now? Or is it quite relaxing, you know, like whatever happens?
I think it goes backwards and forwards. I feel quite exhausted. Like I'm not sure I have a fifth game in me, so we'll see how that goes. And I don't know how to beat that Commonwealth deck, so we'll also see how that goes.
Right. So you say you don't have the fifth match in you. Is it really that draining? Is it really that?
I think it's been quite a full-on weekend in general. So in that sense, yeah, it's both the actual matches and just having been on the go for a long time.
I know that, and we talked a little bit with Gearbot about it, that he's taking notes during the match. Are you doing the same, like just to not forget anything?
Yeah, so like counting things like removal cards or problem cards that could come at you. So yeah, there was a point there where I was like, do I push? But then maybe I need to go for the draws just in case he drops something like one of the Takasaki guards or something. But yeah, certainly I've been counting removal in the other games and things like that. And the Commonwealth deck doesn't have many units, so I just count the units.
Right, and especially in this circumstance, right, on the stage and this pressure, and now the final match, the final match actually. How are you gonna deal with that? You said you have no idea. Just like get lucky. Okay.
Hope Gearbot makes a mistake.
Okay.
I mean, I guess in the other two games, like things could have gone slightly differently.
Right.
Like if Commonwealth hadn't been there in the previous, if it had been further down his deck, that might have made a difference to me. And even the game before with the burn, perhaps it could have gone a little bit differently. But it feels like a difficult matchup for both of them.
Yes, definitely. Definitely difficult for both of you.
This is kind of how I anticipated it would go, and then I didn't have a plan for match 5, except hope.
Well, I'm sure you will make it one way or the other, either win or lose.
Yeah, those are the only options. Can we have a draw, Gearbot? Is that a split the money?
No, that's not an option. I have to disappoint you on that. But no, best of luck for that to you, and of course to Gearbot as well. It's been a really exciting matches so far. Good luck to both of you. Cheers. And with that, back to Olafur, our host.
Thank you for that, Thomas. A pleasure as always. Man, we are going to a game number 5 in the grand finals of the 2019 KARDS World Championship. GK Zukov taking on Gearbot, the UK versus Sweden. We're definitely going to be seeing that Commonwealth deck coming out of Gearbot again. $3,200 for first place and the title of KARDS World Championship. It is all on the line in this next match. Let's bring our fantastic casters, Cybernetic and Scout, back in here. Guys, we're going into this final match. It is the 5th match. It is the ultimate match of the tournament. This could not get any closer than what we're seeing here. Zukov coming from behind, upsetting everybody throughout the tournament pretty much, making it to the finals, taking more games off of Gearbot than anyone else has done in this tournament so far. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm kind of shocked that it even got this far. Congratulations to Zukov for getting this far even with this giant, and of course congratulations to Gearbot for being such a dominant force all throughout the tournament. And I think they both absolutely deserve to be here, and yeah, this will be fun to see.
Yeah, and
sorry, go ahead, Cyber.
Yeah, and seeing that, right, like, as you guys were saying, like, this is actually Gearbot's first ever time where he got to a 2-2 situation, actually, throughout the whole series. So I think this is going to be a very climatic match for both the players.
Yeah, and you always have to wonder, can the pressure of the world stage make a difference, right? It's the first time that he goes to a final match in the series in the tournament, and the stakes couldn't be higher. We're ready for the players to get into the next match. While they're getting started, let's get deck predictions here. What deck do you think Gearbot's going to bring, and what do you think Zukov's going to bring?
Well, Gearbot, he's going to bring his Commonwealth.
Yeah, I think that's
no doubt about it.
That's given.
The more I thought about it during the interview, I think Zukov may go with his American deck because how we mentioned in that the last game that he played his American deck, he had that Jasko, and the Jasko alone can maybe put a pretty big wedge if he holds it into that last rights combo, and I think that might be a very smart play for him.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that would be something to play around. Maybe he's got that information now, but it is a good habit to get into. But we all know that Gearbot doesn't do really any HQ damage early on at all. He's usually just building up, drawing, cycling through his deck. So he shouldn't feel pressured to put through Jasko on curve, but he could be doing that to kind of bait out removal as well. So that could be a thing. Maybe, to try and get that precision bombing out quite early. Who knows?
All right.
And he goes for the aggro.
We are live with game number 5 in this grand final of the 2019 KARDS World Championship, coming at you live from the bunker in Reykjavik, Iceland. Our casters are, as always, Cybernetic and Scout. Take it away, guys.
All right, Zukov opting to keep the KV-1 in his mulligan. Obviously, he knows it's a very powerful card. Gearbot, I believe, has a Tora ready to go, or the guard as well. Yeah, Gearbot getting his guards nice and early.
He's also got the last rights combo quite early, which isn't probably the favorable answer this early. Obviously, it's basically dead cards up until the end, right? So he might be forced to use it early on. But Zukov has quite the options here. So I think he's just going to ignore the guards at this point and go for the face.
Gearbot potentially okay. Gearbot building up that Tora to get huge value from it. He may even Monty to get even more value from it. We might see the double Katusha here.
Yeah, I think the double Katusha is in his favor, but as we know, he does have the Tora, so he's going to get some fat value from this next turn.
Potential to do 6 damage with the Katushas. All right, that's 5 at least. You're already with the BF. I'm not sure. Okay, doing 5 damage to face with the Katushas. Not too shabby. Knowing what we know, probably better to use his bicycles into the guard. But,
Zukov acknowledging the move there. But the good news is he is able to bring out that Mitre to the front line. So Rising Sun would be a really good option for him.
Gearbot getting a lot of his guards early on.
Oh, picking up another Mitre. That's going to apply some good pressure already.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do believe he's probably going to put the KV-1 next turn.
Gearbot with Commonwealth and Last Rights in his hand, as well as the Siren. So that's 3 big cards right there. That's 3 of his finishers.
But a bit too early on, I think. It's giving Gearbot not many options to deal with, say KV1 when it comes out next turn, which would be the ideal play, let's be honest.
Yeah, KV1 might be a very powerful play from Zukov right now. Gearbot still obviously has all those heal cards in his hand, so he can definitely sustain for quite a while. This is a lot of guards for Zukov to get through at the moment, however.
Yeah, that's one of those support lines that you almost never want to see. Just 15 hit points ready to be soaked up.
Well, what's he put up there? What did he put up on the screen? He wrote another note. I couldn't quite see what it said.
I missed it. I think he's gonna go for the KV1.
I think that may be Zukov's best play. It looks like he's debating between the KV1 and the Shiden.
The Shiden might be good for removing guards, but this, see, you can see his reaction. It's like, oh no.
Gearbot not happy about that. Gearbot gonna take a lot of face damage.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I think he realizes
two Type 93s Zukov may drop, however, and completely knock out those guards potentially this turn.
No, he can. He can. He can get rid of at least most of them. Maybe leave one left. He might be trying to.
You can see him doing the calculations there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to use pop. Yeah, because this lines up the bombing raid. Oof, this is going to be tough. Oh, he did get
Gearbot with precision bombing, but no.
Wow.
He has the Siren. He may have to use the Siren.
He will
just
be
to use that precision bombing,
which isn't a bad play. Let's be honest. He needed
lots of pressure from that KV1 though.
Oh man,
forcing
that was
out.
Very good top deck there.
Absolutely. May see the bombing raid come in and take out the Siren as well.
It'd be really good,
Keep
but
his
he might be
Mitos
just
alive.
using it.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah. Yeah,
Zukov definitely putting a lot of pressure on right now. I think the bombing raid might be a very good play for him.
Bombing raid, even put down the other
even the Type 93. Or he may opt to put the Akitas up there. But if he Type 93s, he can kill the or he may just go straight
Siren
to
with the other Type 93. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very, very powerful.
Oh no, Gearbot's under a lot of pressure right now. He does have some ways to deal with it, but
still has the Kitty Hawk. Yeah. Okay. Gearbot definitely able to clear the points, or at least, in that other Mitra.
That was a very good clear though.
Yeah.
But as you guys saw, all that damage, he will have to go for the last rights combo to finish this up. I think he took way too much damage to rely on the Commonwealth as a finisher.
We might see the Shiden come out here, and that would be even more pressure because a lot of Gearbot's guards are gone. I think the Shiden would absolutely would be an amazing play for Zukov here right now.
Exactly.
Gearbot, and even if he pulls the Albacores, opting for this instead. Still
which
plenty
makes
of face damage.
Yeah, that does actually make sense though.
Ooh, Gearbot getting his Crusader. He's nodding his head. I think that's what he was looking for. Now he can get some draw.
That's what it is.
Heal up.
Good timing, and this is a very clutch game, guys.
Yeah, and there's
a lot of backs and forwards.
There's so much pressure on the board right now from Zukov as well.
Getting another Crusader.
I would actually be tempted to actually use that other Crusader.
Alright. Looks like Gearbot's pretty much going to heal right back up. I'm going to see 3 Akitas come out, however.
Yeah, no, that's good. It will get rid of one of the Crusaders.
Gearbot still with the Crusader in hand. and the fortification. Doing a lot of drawing right now.
Oh,
He
wow.
just might hit that threshold. There's
Oh, the
Tora.
Tora too.
He runs the
I think
risk
he's
of
going
losing his Crusaders.
I
Looks
think
like
it's
he's going
worth it.
for it. Let's see what those Akitas kill.
Oh,
Alright,
he
so he
leaves
still has
the
one
one.
Crusader. That's very lucky for Gearbot.
Wow.
Not loses both of his Crusaders
But he
there.
does have the shitter now that he can use freely.
Gearbot looks like he's running out of removal options as well. I'm not sure how he's going to deal with the
Yeah.
Sheedan.
Yeah,
Shaking his head.
exactly. But he does have draw potential thanks to the Crusader.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Unless he
might
pulls
have to
something
draw
with that MI5. Well, I guess.
Oh, there it is. As an
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's going to keep him in right there. Maybe he didn't see the bombing grade Tora, or maybe he wants to save the bombing grade. He's counting his cards now, trying to see how close
Maybe
he
he's
can get to the
trying to-
last rights combo.
Yeah, maybe he's just going for that.
No, but think about it. The last rights combo, since he only has the one Siren now, it only does 16 damage.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
Zukov would have one hit point left. I think it would
Yeah.
be very wise for Zukov right now to clear the board and maybe get the front
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
And prevent
Like,
that Crusader from
not-
doing that last bit of damage.
Exactly. I hope he does realize that, because that could be the game changer. Because
Absolutely.
now that he's got the information now that the HMS is gone, he couldn't use attack face with that. So I hope he does see that play.
I really think his best bet is to take out both of those bombers with his Sheedan and then move his guard to the front line, because 16 hit points is the threshold.
It is.
Looks like that's what he's doing. Very smart play by Zukov.
Oh, good. He did see that. All right. Let's see how it plays out next turn.
Blade of the Samurai coming out now, however. Bombing grades. I forget. He still has the bombing grade and the Tora. Zukov, I'm pretty sure, does not have any heals. Getting that 16 hit point threshold out of the way. But
oh, he's getting close to it. He's got it. He's getting close to the end of his deck, guys.
Absolutely is.
What a comeback too. He was right on the clutch of it, but he did get some really good top decks up until now.
Zukov checking how many cards are left, knowing that Gearbot has this devastating combo in hand ready to go.
Yeah. The only problem is
might be where it ends. Randy, that last card.
Oh, but the
Zukov, I'm pretty sure, thinks he knows this game is done and over.
I'm actually surprised he didn't go for the last rights now, just to start the engine going.
Unfortunate draws there by Zukov. Probably not too many options left for him. Gearbot at the very bottom of his deck. Combo ready to go.
Yeah. Get in the front line as well. There it is. I think that's game for us, guys.
Yeah. That's definitely game. Alright, looks like Gearbot's
And there it is, guys. The 2019 World Championship.
This Commonwealth deck is brutal.
Oh, man. Those draws, though, he couldn't have asked for better hills as part of that.
The slow, painful
There
defeat,
it is.
playing all those kamikazes. Congratulations to Gearbot for taking it all.
Congratulations.
That Commonwealth deck really.
Oh, oh, look, Ollie's out there already.
So we are here with our winner of the 2019 KARDS World Championships, taking it to the game number 5. It is Gearbot. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm still really pumped up on adrenaline, but I'm really excited, yeah.
Yeah, this game was probably the closest we've seen anyone take you in terms of challenging that Commonwealth deck. What was going through your mind when you were kind of on the ropes there and needed to find some pretty high-value top decks?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna lose when he got KV on turn 6. That's why I played the Monty earlier actually to draw an extra card just to look for removal. But luckily I got my precision bombing, yeah.
You played it cool, calm and collective. You finished out your deck. You're obviously breathing heavy right now. How does it feel to be the KARDS World Champion?
It feels really good, yeah. My goal was just to get top 4. Yeah, but then everyone on Discord was like, yeah, Gearbot's gonna win the whole thing. So it was a little pressure on me, yeah. But I'm excited I did it.
Awesome. Congratulations. I'm going to invite Ivar Kristjansson, the CEO of 1939 Games, to join us here on set and present you with your prize of a custom KARDS War Bonds, stating that you are indeed the 2019 KARDS World Champion and you have won $3,200. Congratulations, Gearbot.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, we're now going to send it over to Thomas in the interview set where he's sitting with GK Sukov just to get his thoughts on this final matchup before we come back to the set here and sign off. Thomas, take it away.
GK Zukov, fabulous second place, right? That was a tough final. You made it into the 5th match, and that was also very tightly lost. How are you feeling? Relaxed, excited, sad?
I think a bit frustrated, probably. I think initially I had in my head that I probably would go for the ramp deck if that had happened, and I feel like I probably should have. I think that although the burn matches looked close, I think I was always quite unfavoured. There were just a lot of answers that Gearbot had in his deck. Whereas I think maybe the first time I played the ramp, maybe that affected my decision a bit. But I actually think that was probably the deck I should have gone for. I guess I slightly thought that if he did just decide to play the burn, it would be a bit embarrassing if I picked the ramp deck.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that'll sit with me for a little while. How would it have been if I'd got a second?
But a second place in the World Championship,
yeah,
I mean, that's nothing to sniff at, right?
Like, he played really well and he built a really good deck. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I said, second place, would you have thought it like a couple of weeks, a couple of months ago when the whole thing started?
No,
right.
But it's still that thing of getting close and
yeah, that's really the competitive spirit. You don't want to be second place, you want to be first, right? Yeah. Next year. All right. And with that, from this exciting match, back to our host for final time. Back to Oli.
Thank you so much, Thomas. That was it. That was the final match of the KARDS 2019 World Championship. With me on the line still are Cybernetic and Scout. We are just moments away from bidding goodbye and farewell and Auf Wiedersehen to everybody that's been following us throughout the weekend. I'll give you guys a chance to sign off and say your goodbyes before we ultimately end the stream.
Well, it's been great to be here. Tons of exciting matches. I think a lot more excitement than a lot of us were expecting. Very cool. Oh, and good on you, Ollie, dude. I noticed you hosting the whole thing, interviewing people, giving them a little city tour. Very nice work from you, and of course everyone over there at the bunker, putting in a lot of work. I've met a few of them. They seem nice. What about you, Cyber?
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way. I might even be getting a little bit emotional here, but it's definitely been an end of this nice, great series, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to seeing like I guess like the part that's overwhelming is that seeing how close that game was. Like it could have easily just that precision bombing. If that did not come out, it was clearly in GK Zukov's favor. So just to see that, that clutch moment where he had to use Convoy to kind of fish for that. Otherwise, he was going to lose out on like long term. That was great. Foresight there. So again, though, I just want to thank everyone for obviously the viewers, the players, the hosts, the devs, everyone for making this possible. Like I'm even like skipping over my words because of how like exciting and passionate we all are about this.
Yeah, and just a huge thank you to you guys. You have been absolutely fantastic all weekend long. There's no way that I could have done it without your insights and knowledge, and I hope we get the chance to work together again on future card tournaments. But with that said, I'm going to be saying my goodbyes. Thank you, everyone that tuned in for the weekend. Cards, even though it is still in early access, truly has a fantastic community. Let's grow it together. And with that, I bid farewell. And yeah, good night.